All right, we'll just kick it off, shall we? Why don't we? Just getting some data points coming through here. February U.S. export prices on a month-over-month basis coming through 0.8% versus 0.2% expected there. Import prices as well, 0.3 to the upside versus 0.3, in line with expectations, export and import year over year. Basically in line with expectations there as well. Keep in mind, coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, the big number today going to be March Michigan consumer sentiment, 76.9 expected. There is a 5-year and a 1-year inflation expectation number tied to that as well. So definitely one to watch, could move the market at 10 o'clock this morning overall. Futures downside a little bit here. We are on track though for still some positivity on the week and still down here as well on the month, 7.8%. For the NASDAQ on the month, still looking good. Inflation on the mind though, coming off what happened yesterday, 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, and 2% for the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell, all in the red once again this morning. Not the case for the futures. Back to the upside here. Apple helping this. Some positivity coming through this morning. We'll touch on Apple. We'll touch on Tesla once again. That Starship flight yesterday was amazing to watch, but they couldn't stick the landing, unfortunately.
And that broke my heart.
Yeah.
We don't even really know where the hell it is. It's over the Indian Ocean somewhere in pieces, but incremental gains, I guess.
Just amazing. Yeah, yeah. Definitely a huge positive still for the company and for their project altogether. So it'll be interesting to see if we get some comments from Elon on that. But yeah, Apple back to the upside this morning. We'll touch on big tech across the board, more AI-related positivity coming through from Microsoft as well. It's Friday morning, guys. Good morning.
Dude, have you looked at the
triple witching today? So you've got stock futures, you've got index futures, sorry, stock options, index futures, and index options all expiring on the same day. So you get some extra volatility in the morning and the close. And you'll only hear this from us because I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. The other thing about witching, which is important, is if you have your trading station facing toward the west, so that you're looking to the west when you're looking at your screen, then your gains are tripled at the end of the day.
Right.
It's a very little known fact. Now, now oddly enough, we actually do have hours already set that way because we're prepared like that.
Yeah.
All of that is entirely untrue.
Our keyboards are ready to rock and roll here.
Although we are facing west.
Yes. Don't give all the secrets away. We are facing west, and we have no windows. So, no matter what's going on outside,
I had this conversation.
We
with
have no
somebody.
idea around here.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some windows in the back, but they don't lead to outside there. All right, it's Friday. It should be a good one. Did you say we're getting close to being positive on the week, or we are positive, or what? Because it's been like 16 of 17 weeks, something like that, of straight up, or maybe 15 of the last 17. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. And we have, was pretty positive about an hour ago, and now we turned just red now on the NASDAQ. So it'll be an interesting time to see here with, Adobe earnings kind of hitting the NASDAQ a little bit, but they're not a huge component. We'll see if that can get to the downside as well. AMD still well under 200. NVIDIA 878, which was a pretty key level yesterday in and around that 880 mark. So yeah, lots of things to trade. Apple still approaching 174 again. That name seems to have been gotten off the bottom there a little bit. So yeah, Rivian with an upgrade. Tesla's still around that 160.
Even Fisker's up.
We're going to see if we could just, basically bookend this week here and end it off with a nice day.
So I'm not 100% sure about this, but just eyeballing the chart, when I eyeball the chart, the NASDAQ looks down, the ES looks up on the week. I'm eyeballing the chart.
Yeah, so we're
just
really
basically
close then. So
we closed down here, so we're close to negative there on the NASDAQ. But the ES is looking like it's solidly up because we would have been here and yeah, the ES, which makes sense because the banks have been strong and energy has been strong, but tech has been weaker. So we have a chance, NASDAQ. Don't boil it. Spoil it.
Or boil it. Or boil it. UNG.
Or you could boil it too.
Not gas going.
Oh, no. Not nat gas.
Boil,
True. Well, that's
the ETF. All right, what's up, boys?
Might be jinxing ourselves a little bit, but yeah, 0.6 right now for the S&P. The NASDAQ is positive, but just. It's like 0.08 on the week right now. So we are gapping up a little bit here. 0.03 on the
Okay,
week.
not
So
bad.
we are positive, but only just. So hopefully we're not jinxing ourselves for a positive end to what has been a pretty eventful week. I mean, we get CPI, we get PPI, we get. It's actually kind of impressive that after all of this data that has come out this week, we end the week basically. I mean, we're positive, but basically flat here so far this morning.
Yeah, I mean, the inflation prints are a rough bunch. I mean, you and I talked about this yesterday. I think that last 1% between 2 and 3 is the toughest really to bring down here. But we'll have to keep our eye on the markets. I was talking to you about this off camera, the 2-year yesterday, basically breaking the October highs that we print there, 4.6. We're printing 4.65 on the back of that high PPI print. So the 2-year on the way up, Brendo.
Yeah, PPI worse than CPI if you missed it this week, but both hotter than expected still on the inflation front. A couple of things individually moving around here. Adobe downside off earnings, the forecast, bit of a problem for Adobe. I just saw Rivian higher on an upgrade here. Piper Sandler upgrading the stock to overweight.
I don't have anything to say, Brendo. I mean, we were just talking about this company maybe holding on for dear life here, not having enough cash to expand and to build out the R2 platform. Then they come out with that great event. RJ makes everybody look the other way with this R3 and R3X and et cetera. Look, they got, at the end of the day, they make beautiful cars, but they got to make money. So let's see how they scale.
Yeah, $11 trying to hold here, guys, for Rivian this morning.
And in other news, we're sad to say that clearly Randy has left us to go to a ratings agency so that he could upgrade Rivian, because he's the one that was talking, nicely about it. He's not actually here. Oh, you know what's interesting? I talked to Randy. I knew
never here on Friday.
No, I knew he had the day off because I was talking to him outside yesterday, and he had mentioned that he was not going to be in today. So you're not, even though I did turn my head, like you got me, but you didn't get me, and you're not going to get me again. But Rivian. It was nasty yesterday for Rivian. It failed. The pre-market levels that failed were 1160, and 11 wasn't even a place to get out. It was a place to add, apparently, because it got all the way down to this 1060 bottom. But all it has left is the fact that it's not as bad as some of the others and the $10 support level. It's great that it bounced off this higher low, but until it's above these quarters, it's like, okay, it can still be a short, but if it breaks these quarters, it's probably got room to go right back into that 1160, 1170 area where I try to be looking short again. They're not the only beleaguered EV name that is gapping up today, because Fisker is as well. Although that's just on rumors that there's a big auto company that might want to pick some up or actually just go into partnership investment with them. But that was denied by the company. It is gapped up, but 31%. Only looks good if you ignore the rest of the chart for all of history.
All of history. Yeah, EV names are so hot. They're such great investments. Yeah, here's an investment that I think can be great. Make Adobe great again. Look, this reminds.
Now that's one.
This reminds me a lot of what we saw, of course, on PanW. We talked about the PE on this name being in and around 30. 32, 33. And then here you have an example. It's almost the exact same thing as Palo Alto, where you're getting a company that I believe has, great tailwinds as far as software editing, as far as where we're going with AI. They have a conference coming. We could talk about this when we do this watch list, but they have a conference coming up on the 21st. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity to pick up a good company here, down 11%. Their guide was missed on the low end missed by 600 million. Okay, so them being a $230 billion company, down right now 11%. So they're losing 25 billion in market cap from a guide down for 600 million. So 25 billion in market cap wiped out for that. So you can see how much the street is paying for growth and everything right now. Obviously, that's going to be a miss, so they get hit. So, whether or not you think Adobe can survive in this era, I
survive?
Don't know. No, but I mean, people are saying that, this Sora and chat and all these AI, I don't know, not the LLMs, but not the large language models, but the editing software and everything's just going to be getting better and potentially. So the problem is Adobe took $1 billion hit on Figma. They had to
Well,
pay.
exactly.
So that hit the numbers as well. And then the other.
But that's a one-time cost. One time.
No, forget about that. What I was getting at was that they're not going to be allowed to go in and buy anybody. So as competition improves around them, they're not able to go ahead and acquire companies. You know, I mean, they tried.
Well, that being said,
So I don't like that.
but pretty much everybody's in that. A lot of people are in that boat. So if you're behind, buying to catch up, if you're a big cap tech company, is going to be a problem. But fundamentally, if we're just sort of talking about the quarter, which is not what we do, but like if you're just talking about the quarter and the reaction, it feels a lot like Palo Alto's. You look at that daily, and the 480 is great support on that stock. So if it breaks 480, I'd be a little bit surprised. I don't know. I think it's good to buy. I actually heard an analyst on I listened to it on the radio, but it's like a TV show.
Yeah.
Literally saying Adobe should be the new Mag 7 name if Tesla's out.
Yeah. The guy.
And that's after this report. So,
Right.
not that I agree with that, but I mean, come on.
The guy was probably listening to last week's podcast, saw the report, and then, you know. Anyways, I think you're buying it at a discount right now. I always say the 3-day rule. I think it would have worked on PanW as well. I think the first day it went to 275, and then it went down into 260, I think.
It didn't matter that much.
Anyways.
The way I see it is when it's like the 200 period on PanW, that was the difference because I was going to buy that level regardless.
Where was the first?
So like
day
that
it
was
went
the
down? Yeah,
first.
so it stayed down there for a couple of days.
Yeah, but like it was because I was buying there anyways, whether the earnings, I was just sort of stink bidding it. But with that one, the Adobe, go back to Sean's chart for a second if we can. There we go. No, Sean's chart?
This is mine.
There we go. Yeah.
You're talking about this?
But yeah, like I mean, whether it's the 480 or the 500.
I like this level.
Those are support levels regardless. So if you were looking at DCA into the stock, like that's probably a bid where you'd have it out there, earnings or no earnings. But the 3-day rule makes sense from a swing trade perspective. I would 100% agree with that.
And I don't know anybody that does any swing trading. Is he around yet, Michael Noss, or what? All right, let's go back over to the desk.
No, it's a great point on Adobe that there's a lot more competition and a lot more options these days for, you were just mentioning Canva.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different things that you can use even for video editing. Quickly, we'll talk about Bitcoin here and then, get to Mr. Noss to wrap up the week on a Friday. Downside here in a pretty big way. It kind of looks like this day, if you go back to March 5th. Or the way it's starting anyways, but just broke 68,000 downside. So all the equities related here under a bit of pressure this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a healthy pullback, Brendo. It's not that much off the top. 73,750 was the top there, coming back down into about 67.5. Not a bad look. With respect to some of the equity names here, Marathon, Mara basically announcing this morning that they're looking at buying a Applied Digital Bitcoin mining data center in Garden City, Texas for around $87.33 million. We'll see how that one trades on the day. It's been pulling back quite aggressively lately.
Yeah, I noticed all the ETFs downside this morning as expected. We've had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 there looking like negative analysts talking about these ETFs this morning as well. Just, I mean, the overall message, too far, too fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Well, okay, fine. Like you can say too far, too fast, but then like in bull markets, you need pullbacks. Otherwise, they turn into parabolic squeezes, I suppose, even though that kind of loosely resembles one. I have a weekly chart up of Bitcoin, just so you know. A lot of times we'll use daily charts to try to let you guys know if we're looking at a weekly. In this case, like what would be a reasonable pullback? 52, 60? 60 for sure. 62 doesn't really break the trend either. All you're having is a fresh all-time high and a rejection of that level. But this breakout, like this, resembles that, the front end, more than it does, that double top. Like if you look at the push into 40,000, which some of us remember, most of us remember that. It's only 2021. You pull back off of 40,000 all the way to like 29. That's a decent chunk, and then you ripped to 60,000. So it would not be crazy to reject a 70,000 break and be back at 50,000. Like that's not unreasonable at all. What is worth watching today? Well, lots of things are worth watching today, including us. But IBIT, if you're looking at it, and looking at Bitcoin in general, on the 8th, you had a wipeout bottom that got this down to 37.7. I know you can be charting this on Bitcoin prices because we're now trading IBIT, which is the most liquid of the ETFs. This is the one I'm going to look at. So this bottom here at 37.75, I think it gives you a bit of leeway that if you do another liquidity grab drop, say at the open or in the middle of the day, if there is a fail of 38 that holds this area, I'd want it back upside through, just for like a temporary dip and rip type story. Those have been absolute gold. When it wicks a big bottom, getting those retracements as a day trader has been fantastic. Like you can just sort of see, like every time there's like a major breakdown, within maybe like a dollar move within about a 15-minute span in IBIT, catching it on the way back up once the bid comes in has been gold. I've only got one of them.
Yeah, I actually talked about that same IBIT level. I was going to look at, it's on the sticky note today for the first time. I've never written IBIT on there before, but it is on there. I just want to look at, you know, last night I was sitting there, I was going to bed. It was, I don't know what it was, 11:30, midnight, something like that. And I looked down and I was like, oh my God, Solana was like at 180 something yesterday. And like I had just sold some at 155, 154, 157, something like that. So some of these names are really, really going here, like 15% in 7 days. There is pullback now, as you can see in many of these altcoins. So it's pretty bad, like 10, 15, 30, not 30, sorry, 13% right there with Shiba Inu, Dogecoin 13%, Cardano 11, Ripple 9. I mean, it's you know, Ethereum 6, they're down to 36. So Bitcoin now 67.5. Like it's not a great day here, but I don't know. I agree with Neil and everybody here and everybody in the chat probably. It's not, there's no worth panicking on anything now. I mean, it's been such a huge move up. You're going to get pullbacks. Like if we don't believe in NVIDIA here, then you shouldn't buy it at 873. Like NVIDIA could go down to $700. It doesn't mean the story's over. So I feel like there has to be some gas coming out of here, and it looks like the crypto's taking a break for a minute. I wouldn't be surprised if we're like 62, 63 on Monday, to be honest with you.
By the bit.
There he is, Michael Na, CMT over at Trade Ideas to wrap things up. As I mentioned on a Friday, Mr. Nas, Sharif and I were just talking off camera here about natural gas. You want to discuss nat gas here, and Sharif was mentioning the simple fact that it's been the warmest winter in a long, long time here, I think right across most of North America, and we've had, you know, a lack of need for heating and natural gas in that sense anyways. But give us your case here. What are you looking at? What are you seeing that makes it seem a little bullish?
Well, as a technician, right, I believe that most of that stuff is priced in. And funny enough, as I was in the green room and I was listening to Sean, he was mentioning how crypto is selling off a bit. We're getting a pullback in some of these chip names. And what I've been doing probably for the last few weeks coming on here is making the case for different sectors that I thought could benefit when profit comes in or profit taking comes in some of these different sectors. You know, if you owned NVIDIA as a fund and you put 5% of your money in NVIDIA, $200, well, now 30% of your fund is NVIDIA at some point. You got to take some of that off the table. You got to rebalance by putting that into different sectors. So the first thing that I do every night or when the market's about to close, I go to our sector scope page on our website and I bring this up. And this is just a tree map of what's going on. And it's pretty evident to me when you look at this that everything mostly was down except UNG, XLE, and uranium. And I've talked to death about uranium. I've already given my case for XLE. So I thought UNG being up 5% on a day where the whole market was interesting. And as someone who this is my pursuit right now is to say, where is money going into? That really got my interest. So I started to look at some charts. So the first one I have here on UNG is just a daily chart, but it's using an indicator just known as a stochastic. And this is just simply an overbought, oversold indicator with two lines. And the idea is that when it's in the oversold territory and it crosses up, generally speaking, that could be a bullish sign. I went through and I showed some of the times that it worked recently. I'm certainly not saying that UNG is going to go back to $100 a share or anything like that, but it's bounced a few times now. It's bounced when the first cross happened. I think it went from 15 to nearly 30, so almost a double. On that last cross, when it actually got moving, I think it went from, again, I think it was 14 or so to around 20. So again, good returns if you can catch this. But I always want to preface, you're obviously trading against the trend right here. And when you're trading against the trend, you just need to understand that the probabilities of being right, in my opinion, are lower but the risk reward on a trade like this is just so high, and that's what I want to take a look at. My old mentor used to call them basement window trades. Basically, if you're going to jump out a window, you might as well make it the basement window, and that's kind of what I'm looking to do here. So another chart here on UNG, just zooming in and showing that we're at this $14.50 to $15 support zone. So if I'm right and I'm going to take a trade in UNG, that's going to be my line in the sand. Any significant close below that level, I'm wrong or early and it's time to go. And I would rather get stopped out 2 or 3 times trying to make this trade than to hold this and have it drop to 5 as this thing's been in a wicked downtrend. So this next chart, it's not a very good looking chart, but what I wanted to show in the futures market, there's something called the Commitment of Traders Report. And the Commitment of Traders Report essentially just says these are where the hedgers are, or people who are trading natural gas to hedge off some kind of position. So companies that have exposure to natural gas and want to make sure that that's hedged off. And that is the green line. And you can see they have been long and getting longer natural gas. And the red line is the speculators. So people who are betting on just a movement in natural gas. And they do this every week. So it'll be interesting to see what this week's report holds. But you can see they've been short and getting shorter. And quite often it's the commercials who know what's going on and not the hedgers or the speculators. There's a great book in one of the market wizards with Jason Shapiro. He trades, exclusively using this indicator. But just saying that there is an opportunity, if natural gas can stay above this level, for some sort of a short covering type rally. Now, the next chart I have here is if you want to play natural gas or some levered product against natural gas, that's fine, and I might take some of that as well. But I went under the hood and I tried to look for some bigger cap names that could benefit off natural gas. So Cheniere Energy is natural gas distribution. So they don't technically always make money or lose money based off the price of natural gas. But what they do is they distribute natural gas. So when the price is moving up, that would obviously be a more favorable environment to them. And I just drew this little box around price to show that this is not nearly as bad and hasn't been beat up nearly as bad as natural gas. So if natural gas starts going, I think this could get a move as well. And then the last chart here is just the same one, Cheniere Energy on the daily chart. You can see a nice simple downtrend line. So I think my game plan for this one is to simply buy if we can get a close above that downtrend line. That's around 160 or so a share. Worst case stop is under this swing low, and see if we can get, maybe back to highs at 180 or something. Would end up being a really good trade.
Technical aspect, as you said, definitely some key levels to work off in that case. Is it a prove me wrong first, or is it a show me that it's working first type of idea?
For me, I want to get as close to that support zone as I can. So I'd rather take the trade knowing that the risk is so incredibly small that I want it to prove me wrong. I want the market to come in and stop me out. I think if you have to wait for too much confirmation on bounces like this, you'll be buying into too much strength. So that's my idea. If you're an options person, right, maybe there's some options play for buying a call where your risk is capped. But one thing I forgot to say, and I did want to, is they call natural gas the widowmaker in the trading world, and they do it for a reason. So just be very, very careful.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Enjoy your weekend. Michael Noss, CMT over at Trade Ideas. We'll speak again on Monday.
Talk to you Monday.
They do say it. I try to make sure every single time we even pull up a chart of natural gas, I'll say it's the widowmaker. But there was something that Michael said there that I wanted to maybe just repeat with a little bit more emphasis, and that's notice the difference in style of trade. I wanted to prove me wrong versus I want the confirmation. The type of trade you're making matters not just for acknowledging the setup and tracking its success, but then knowing what works for you and what doesn't. Because if you just look at that and say, okay, I'm looking for a bottom here on natural gas without defining the type of trade, well, then it's hard for you to work the risk to reward. And when you're going forward, do you need it to be breaking out above here? It's much different risking 25% than it is risking a pittance if you get it in front of that support level. So you've got to know if you're shooting big with a small stop or if you're waiting for confirmation. It might be the same instrument, it might be the same level. it might be the same move, but it doesn't mean that you're making the exact same trade, and that becomes very important. I did want to I gotta correct something because one thing was said that's factually incorrect. I don't know what type of basements they have in Halifax, but you climb out of a basement window. You don't jump out of a basement window. You can jump out of a window that's on like the ground floor because you're above ground, but if you're below ground, you need to climb out of it. So I'm just gonna, little things like that. I'm a stickler. It is what it is.
Yeah, Mr. Michael Noss. He's used that reference a couple times on this show there. So shout out to Michael and thank you for bringing up all those different sectors. I think it's important to understand that, you know, when you're looking at a week or a month or a year, I thought Ramin was yelling at me that I was on mute there. I was like, oh my God. But, you know, important to see that you're diversified, right? I mean, we kind of joke around sometimes about trying to pick stocks. Realistically, you can pick the SPY, which is the S&P 500. You can take the NASDAQ or any of those ETFs, diversify a little bit that way, or pick individual names and you know, sleep a little rougher at night. But yeah, thanks, Michael, for all that. I think that's, I've never invested in Nat Gas other than Enbridge, which is a pipeline, of course.
True.
But yeah, every time I look at that, on the recap show, it's funny because I always look at the sectors that move the most. And it's like every day, it's like, oh, UNG up 5%, down 5%, down 3%, down 2%.
It doesn't
up 4%,
sleep.
Down 7%. It's like, it's wild. So that's why we talked about that Boyle
switching
ETF
day
as well. And, oh, so there might be some.
No, I pulled up
imbalance.
Enbridge to look at the chart for a quick second, and then of course the level 2 for a split second had all those.
Oh, did it have all these crazy
size.
prices on there? Right here, we don't have too many. Most of the trading for these kind of witching days will happen at the end of the day, but you know, Fisker's there with, we talked about that and we will talk about it a little bit more coming up. 2 million shares there. There's not too much on here, but if you notice something, S's are outweighing the B's right here. So like, yeah, I don't know, it's 5 to 1 maybe, something like that, maybe 4 to 1. A little bit in here, a PLD, don't even know what that is. WY, DOC, that's not DocuSign. So a lot of big sells here today, including AT&T, right? Bank of America, Pfizer, Ford, Verizon, Walmart, Coca-Cola, JP Morgan, right? They're all here, WFC, Uber, right? So all these big names all have sell imbalances to start the day. So NASDAQ starting to head to the downside. S&P now bouncing, but did have a nice move down as well. So let's wait to see if there's some early weakness potentially in the market. This is what those imbalances indicate.
Lots of interesting names here on the upgrades and downgrades, starting off with DoorDash getting an upgrade here from Piper Sandler. The more interesting thing here is the price target from 53 to 127, so massive price target increase here for DoorDash. Piper Sandler here also upgrading Rivian to overweight with a price target of $21. Nice look for Rivian. Snowflake getting an upgrade from Guggenheim, and Micron getting upgraded by Citigroup ahead of those earnings next week. Polestar getting downgraded here by Piper Sandler. We also have Janney downgrading Markel Group. Mobileye getting downgraded from Piper Sandler as well. Lots of Piper Sandler moves today. And last but not least, Morgan Stanley downgrading Republic Services, guys.
A few interesting names on that list. PSNY on the downside this morning from Piper Sandler. Mobileye as well downside. We were just talking about maybe some positivity today in the EV space, but not so much for Polestar. Have you seen the hatchback?
The new one, the 3. Yeah,
it's actually
good.
Not bad looking.
No.
It's a little bit bigger. The Polestar to this point has been essentially a Volvo, an EV Volvo, but this one definitely different.
But the thing about, like, I find with our experience is we see a lot of Polestars in Toronto. I don't feel that's necessarily the case in the United States. I feel like they see more Rivians than we do here. Polestar is quite affordable. You're looking
Everywhere. Yeah, sorry. It's everywhere.
It's not a bad look. It's $350 bi-weekly for a lease. That's down a lot of people's alley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's an entry-level EV vehicle in the way that you see Tesla and Rivian wanting to make one. So.
And they've never been in your face with advertising or marketing or anything like that, just kind of quietly doing their thing. But I mean, the same can't be said for the stock, however. But we are up ever so slightly here this morning, guys, for Polestar.
You know what? It looks pretty nice, man. Sean just, yeah. there you go.
I'm just on the website now because I never heard of it before. So
Whatever happened to building one in the midday show where you used to like build a car?
yeah, well, there's only so much content I can provide. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for like more pictures here, but they're all just.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, there's not much.
Okay.
Like there we go, just doing these random things here. I don't know. Not great for pictures here, but good airflow
Wow.
on the new Polestar. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
You know.
I'm
0 to 100 in 8 seconds. No, but yeah. Anyways, there's what it looks like there. How much does this thing cost, anyways? Let's buy the launch edition right now and see what this is. Is this going to be Canada? Will we allow it? Yeah, let's allow our location here. Oh, come on, use my location. Yes.
There you go. Avenue.
Yeah, Toronto. What? 97,000? All right. Where's the fail button? No, I don't have to do anything.
No, but what is it like? It can't be that.
$97,000?
We always pay more for everything though up here.
We just 99,000. I mean, it's right here. What else was supposed to be talking about?
Short Polestar.
Well, which one do you want me to do? That's the cheapest version. Yeah, there's 106 here. What was that? Okay, well, if there are cheaper versions, maybe there's cheaper versions. But anyways, this is not a great price at that. But anyways, PSNY. The reason why I want to look at this is because it might be a trap. It might be a trap.
It wasn't me.
Anyways, if that's $97,000, then I don't know where the stock is going, in my opinion, because we start the show by saying that Polestar is pretty affordable and everything like that. Then I call that up and it looks at 100 grand. But it's not that it's, you know, this is down now to $1.60. Is this near or close to all-time lows? Its 52-week low is right here, 130. So look, I mean, I wish Polestar the best, and you know, quite frankly, let's see what the short float is on this one. I just look at Fisker and think about the same thing. Yeah, I don't care what it looks like. That price is ridiculous. 5.7% right now.
Wow.
You know, I don't know. I just want to know the reason for this thing to go back up. So we'll wait to see what happens here. But up 2%. Got downgraded or upgraded? It was downgraded, right?
It was a downgrade.
Okay, so downgraded and up? That's a good sign. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose like when you start reacting positively to bad news, that's usually signs of a bottom on a stock, but it didn't even hit its low. The problem is it doesn't really do much for a trade. Today it's Fisker, Rivian, Tesla. Those are the three names that you should be looking at. If you're trading an EV name and you're an active trader, then you want to trade Fisker, you want to trade Rivian, or you want to trade Tesla. I mean, you guys know what a Tesla chart will look like. That sucker doesn't move. And even if it's a good car, I saw in the chat, yeah, well, you pay more for stake. Even if it's high quality, if you're going to survive, you got to have some mass appeal. Demand is not there. So, I mean, NIO just announced that they're going to be coming out with a more base model that'll appeal to the lower price points, because everyone has to be able to do that to compete with falling prices and lack of demand. So I think that puts Polestar into some trouble.
All right, Sharif's done some research here. I was just going to mention the R1S here in Canada is 112.5
Starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's ballpark. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Sean showed the new one, the 3, which is the more expensive of the two. Here's the long-range dual motor. This one comes in at 67.5. I don't know where the hell it just went. It just decided to disappear here, Brendo. At 67.5, it's got 418 kilometers of range, 408 horsepower. It's not a bad look. This is the cheaper of the two, though, so he doesn't like it. All right, let's get to the futures. 52.18, guys, that's where we closed off yesterday. So let's say support at 5,200, with the overnight low 52.10, the overnight high 52.30. Let's say that 52.50 area that we've been rejecting off now for almost a couple of weeks.
All right. If you have not done so, make sure you grab that. Super easy. Scan the QR code. Go to tradertv.live. That exact pop-up will appear. Just enter your email address, and you get the watch list then every single morning right in your inbox. We have AI, shockingly, at the top of the list this morning. Microsoft and Apple both with, I mean, we learned about the Apple side of things yesterday a little bit with Darwin. Apple just randomly on a Thursday afternoon announcing acquisition of Darwin AI from Waterloo, Ontario. And just like that, poof, they disappear from, it was almost like it never even existed.
Oh, God.
outside of the CEO's LinkedIn page that we found after the fact. But yeah, adding to their repertoire, I guess, as far as AI is concerned, but they absorbed the company. And we were reading in the afternoon that their AI is specifically designed to find manufacturing flaws in products along the line.
That's one of the main things. The other main thing is that it runs locally on the system. That's how they've designed that AI, and that's what Apple wants. Apple wants to create devices where the Gen AI is ran locally, not on the cloud. And so that's why they acquired this. So why it matters is essentially here, their experience in expecting components during manufacturing and the making of AI systems smaller and faster, which could be a game changer for Apple, which is, again, focusing on AI devices rather than entirely on the cloud. Dan Ives likes it. He made a comment with respect to it overnight. With respect to Microsoft, though, it's really more of an Abu Dhabi heading here. The UAE's AI minister, Omar Sultan, basically saying that they're getting into a deal here with ChatGPT maker OpenAI for a joint venture.
Yeah, it was MGX. Remember Sam Altman was over there looking to raise $7 trillion? And this is for that chip initiative. So there's no dollar amount named in this, but yeah, Abu Dhabi's MGX, state-supported technology investment firm, coming through with some money for Sam Altman's chips.
Ooh, like that.
Sam Altman.
Well, there's a bit of a flat top on Apple, and
I still don't believe that $7 trillion.
No, of course not. No, but I'd swear, like within a couple of days, I remember
he's
hearing
trying to
something.
raise 4 NVIDIAs.
I think he pushed back on the number. And anyways, it doesn't matter. Like, it's obviously a fantastical number, or whatever adjective you want to use.
Yes.
But I like flat top breakouts. They're always good, although the only flat top you'll ever see me in is a flat top break or a flat top bottom, unless we're unless we're talking about like 1993 when I did sport one.
Exactly.
So Apple's got one, and if you haven't been paying attention on Apple, then when it gets to $174, you've been not selling it as a trader, and then you've been getting burned. Because every time it gets to $174 this week, it turns around. Literally every day this week. Goes to 174, that's the top. 74, top. You get the only day we didn't test it, I guess, was Wednesday, when it just absolutely flushed. So my assumption is that we're going to test it again today. Well, at least I hope so. And if it can get above like 30 or 40, I think even like a 174.5 might be worth going a long break. Otherwise, allow the double bottom yesterday to be a new support level. Forget about 71 temporarily. Look at 72. That's what I got marked. And 74, 6 out. It's not a hard line in that it always turns at 74. Sometimes you get wicks above, so I think you have to be patient with that area. But if it's above 50s, like 174.5, I think it can be a breakout. Whether the market wants to accommodate that on a Friday, who knows? But it's a short up there till it's not. And I like that 72 long. So I'm willing to go both directions. I favor the longs in Apple, but ignoring that 74 level feels like a mistake.
All right, so our ideas this week have been pretty good on the sticky note, and today Apple's going to be the #1 idea. We have Apple and Micron, and we'll talk about that as we go. Look, we like the 172 long. It's been great support over 170. There's been so many dip buy opportunities. We wrote down here that AI acquisition yesterday. Shout out to Darwin. Shout out to Waterloo. My son Baxter actually knows the guys at Darwin. They're working with the same accelerator that he is, so he's jacked about it. But anyways, bullish above support here, but be patient for the dip, right? So I think that that's pretty important. So you got to wait to see if that ever comes through. So here's Apple right now, and I was looking at it throughout the day. Here's the dip into yesterday's close into 172. It does bounce off there into 173. Down here, 172.20 holds yesterday, but this is why we say be patient for those dip buys. It happens early, and if you like to trust it, then fine. I mean, if it gets down into this level, we'll take it, right? But right there, there's the dip. You have the opportunity at 1 o'clock, then you have the opportunity again at 3 o'clock. So wait for these opportunities. Look at this move early on Apple. There's the 171 hold. So we may have to go through some of this volatility here early. So that's why right now I'm bidding down here at 172.15. So let's see if we get that fill. It's the only bid that I have in right now, and we're going to see if that hits. I like Tesla up there at 168 for a short. We're going to get to that next. Oh, And I also wrote down on the sticky note as well, on the top right corner, that a 420 long, and it has nothing to do with this, but 420 long down here for Microsoft, it's all-time highs right now. It's broken above this 420 level yesterday. We talked about this break yesterday and how much we liked it. We played dips on Microsoft yesterday. We had a $3 winner at the end of the day on Microsoft off of some support. So if we can find support on all-time high names, we're going in on that, baby. So right now, Microsoft will be probably a dip buy in and around 420. But as Neil mentioned, this is not our friend right now. The trend is southbound. So all these bids could evaporate pretty quickly. So we're going to wait to see if that does happen here. And if it does, we're going to get out of the way real quick, man. This is not something where, because this could be a minus 1.5% day. So if you start taking bids when it's only down 0.5%, you're going to get railroaded. And then all your earnings that you've made this week get Polestar'd. Because, like, you know.
Ouch. You could at least say Fiskered.
I'd rather stay away from that one, if you know what I'm saying. Let's go back over to the desk.
Speaking of, yeah, let's talk Tesla here. Trying to bounce as the market, as we saw there, making new lows. This was kind of an interesting note. Analysts talking about all the investment that's going into these humanoid robots, suggesting that it's hard to, at this point anyways, put a value on that, specifically for Tesla and this Optimus project. You sent me a crazy video 2 nights ago of OpenAI's version of a humanoid robot having basically a full-fledged conversation with someone while putting dishes away.
And we played it on the midday yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And we got to show everybody exactly how he was passing the apple. He could detect that the apple was...
With garbage out? Like, it was crazy.
I mean, it was nuts. He could detect what different objects were, which shows obvious signs of intelligence. But with respect to today's headline on Tesla, this has to do specifically with India. And if you remember, the last time Prime Minister Modi was in the United States, he met with Elon in New York City ever so briefly, and they were discussing, obviously, Tesla's expansion into India. Why was this being discussed? Well, obviously, it's the second biggest, well, it's not now the #1 most populous country in the world, Brendo, but they have a very aggressive tariff regime on any imported cars that do not invest in the country. So he's looking for a minimum investment of $500 million. He'll drop that tax, Brendo, from 70% down into the 15, 13s, mid-teens. So it's a big deal here for Tesla.
Yeah, this has been in the works for a while, too, going back to, I think it was summer of last year. We were sitting here talking about Elon in India and working on this deal. So hopefully we can get that done soon. 163 needing to hold here so far this morning, guys, for Tesla.
63.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... like, it's at 163. Yesterday's low was actually the 160 level with change. And if we keep looking at the bigger picture here, the support trend is like 150. It's still at 150. So I think there's still room to the downside. I like the catalyst. Okay, great. Like, you're not going to pretend that that's bad news for them. All that said, the trend is your friend. I don't know if 172, the bigger level, is a possibility today. But when I look at the 167, like where this was at the open when it flushed and then bounced at about 10 o'clock, it then got into 167, then failed again. So if you look at that opening range, like that last salvo of buying got you to 167 and then turned around. So that's the level I'd look at for a bit of a fade. I also like Rivian as well. I'm not completely convinced on this. It's not really, it's gapped up and then stopped moving. So I think using the pre-market tops here, maybe the quarters for an initial short, and then wait around till the 1175, because that was just so nasty, and it broke support. And the trend, as I said, is your friend. Like, this was something trying to break out. It's in the midst of a big pullback. If it has a rebound day and the initial short loses 10, 11 cents, and you can back away from it and wait for a bigger level, I'm all for that. And if we see $10 on Rivian, I think that would be like an easy test level for a bounce, just because that was the earnings low.
So this is well zoomed in right now, but this was yesterday's Tesla trade. Let me just zoom this back out a little bit here. So yesterday, we had Tesla written down as a short as well. There's the pop up to 171. There's the fade. There's the out at 163. There's more shorts at 165. So we definitely, man, we nailed Tesla yesterday. And the day before that, we had the one, I mean, I could try to find it, but we had the 176 short as well on Tesla. So, oh my. You know, that was a couple days ago. AMD, wow. Oh my. Follow me at Trader TV Sean for some more lame emojis. But no, so I really think that if we can get up here in and around 160, I saw Kyle Burdett write down 168. Now I didn't put, not write it down, but in the chat there. You know, I don't know if Tesla runs or not today. It is positive against a red market, so that's giving me a little bit of pause for concern for the short. I think the long is pretty golden down here at 160 because then you just have such an easy out. And I mean, that's what we're looking for, right? Is you're looking for outs and ins. At this, you can, I mean, down here bidding 161, giving yourself $1. I feel that if you do get that bump, like even like you had at the end of the day, that was $2. So that's easily in the possibility. And then you get violent moves off the open. So yesterday we opened at 168, went up to 171.50. That's 250, 350. So if you get up another $2 or $3 into here, I feel like this is a safe short. So 166, 167 into 168, and then ultimately, you know, you go from there. I don't think it's a crazy story here or anything like that, but I do got to give a shout out because I didn't realize this either, but there's India right here, right? China, so just right now, world share, 17%, 17.7 in India, 17.72. So like they're flip-flopping, but that's pretty cool. China down on the year is what I wanted to show everybody. Like I have known nothing about world populations at all. But just interesting to see India up 1%, Pakistan up 2%, China down right there, United States up 0.5%. So just interesting how China's going down and everybody else going the other way there. So anyways, we know about the Chinese economy. Just we always talk about FXI and Alibaba and all that. So in what is now a shrinking population.
All right, let's go to Micron here. Nice move higher in the pre-market. It's
Brenko.
Hey, Sean. Nice move higher here in the pre-market. Bouncing off 94 here for MU this morning. Citigroup with a nice positive note, raising their price target to 150. There was also, I saw TD coming through with an outperformer, maintaining their outperform rating.
Yep, and they increased the price target as well from 100 to 120, Brendo. So a couple of price target upgrades there today for Micron as we anticipate earnings next Wednesday. Here's the reason from Citi. We expect the company to post upside to consensus and increase the guidance for full year quarter 2024. And given strong DRAM pricing and shipment of higher priced, higher margin, higher bandwidth, which is shipping with NVIDIA's AI systems. And we saw Jensen holding that big, block-looking thing on his kitchen table. And included in that is going to be some Micron DRAM chips there. So good luck.
Fresh out of the oven with oven gloves. Yeah, I mean, market accelerating downside here. Micron just hanging out, though, guys, up 2.
Well, I mean, I don't think that Fisker buy imbalance is going to be able to do enough to bounce the market early. Remember, it's triple witching. Every single imbalance of companies that you've ever heard of outside of Fisker was still a sell side. So that's putting pressure on the market right now as we're down 0.3% and heading a little bit lower. But, you know, with a grain of salt, take it with a grain of salt. You get extreme moves at the open on a witching day and at the close as well. So Micron, like the news. Remember, they're not actually making money right now, but they're a pretty cyclical name that usually the market gets out in front of when they see a turnaround. So there's a 95. It's not like any massive high or anything, but it just happens to be yesterday's top and then pre-market levels. If we can show buyers above 95, it looks like a good breakout there. And then this 93 support level. Obviously, it gave it up yesterday and then turned into resistance, but it was a key level before. A key, break, hold, and then turn into resistance. So I think that will be the line. If it survives this opening push to the downside to hold 93 at the open, this looks like a long off that level to me on Micron. It did just recently reject the $100 level as well, but on the daily chart, it even looks like it's coming into support at $90. So even if 93 broke, if you got to $90, I'd probably be thinking long down there again.
All right, so same thing for me. I wrote this one down. I'm not going to show it, but it is on the sticky note, and I just wrote down 2 things. That was that there's either going to be the support here at 93, which I think that there could be coming through right now. So there's 93 yesterday. So we're going to look at that as support. If it breaks that, then we can get out because this could happen easily to Micron here today. If this market wants to go red, I was just saying to Neil, it looks like I got to get these shorts locked and loaded because the market is starting to go to the downside right now. As Apple's coming into 172, we're going to have to hold on on tight to that one, I feel like. But yeah, Micron. All right, so there it is, 93 bucks. We like that bottom for sure. I'm already bidding that one. But again, if we break too much lower than that, you got to get out in and around here, man. 92.40. Like that sort of has to be the line in the sand, in my opinion. Then you might even go short off that if you break it. But then I also want to play the tale of two stories here, because I think it's a nice upgrade. They've really been beat up for a little bit. I mean, all these names have, right? But from 102 down to 90. So it doesn't surprise me that Citigroup comes in here after them, probably buying the dip. And they probably thought, honestly, these are how these places work, man. They're not upgrading it because they want you to benefit from it. They don't give a so they probably thought 93 was going to hold. It dipped down into 90 yesterday, so today they're like, oh crap, we're really long here, Micron down at 93, let's upgrade this thing. So it wouldn't be surprised to me if it gets through 95 today on mass buying and try to create a little bit of panic in the name, and then we'll see this name up to like 97, 98. If the market opens up green on Monday, then they can dump all their shares and you'll return back to 90. So I don't like Micron for an investment, but I think for a trade, we could break this 95, get going back up to the upside. And I want to take the long break at 95 or the dip buy into 93. But right now you're in the middle, so we wait for one of those things to happen. For me, I'd prefer the dip buy into 93, obviously.
Adobe out with earnings, as we said before. It was the forecast that comes in worse than expected here. So huge move down, and after the close, there was really never any uptick. As soon as the report came out, it was just all downside, trying to hold. Key level here, 500 bucks coming back into play, down better part of $80 since yesterday.
Yeah, big drop, Brendo, 12% and still counting here. Look, they beat on the top and bottom lines, despite the fact that earnings, net profit got cut in half. They printed $1.25 billion last year on the quarter. In profit, that got cut to $620 million. But like Brendo mentioned, it was really the guide here. They're guiding about $5.25 to $5.33 billion in revenue. The street was looking to the higher end of that, a little bit higher than $5.33. But we should also mention there's a $25 billion share buyback program here, so not negligible.
If it does hold, if you zoom out a little bit, huge level to maintain here today for Adobe.
Yeah, like for 500 holding, probably might mean like 497, 498. Like this is a stock that if it gets underneath 500 bucks, I don't think you're not saying it's capitulating the support level. Like it's got to break maybe even 95 or 96. So it's going to open up, barring some kind of a big change in the next 8 minutes or so, it's going to open up down 10% or over 10%, making it a short sell restricted. So if there's a bounce zone in here, I'd say anywhere from 95 to 500 is where I'd look for the SSR bounce. And if it doesn't hold that, then we were saying earlier 480 is another big level where the stock has jumped off before. So sometimes you look at these historical prices and want to play them. Pretty close to Apple getting to that 172. Like that's incoming. We're like 20 cents away on Apple, 30 cents away from 172 on Apple. So there's a few things that are going to test these dip buys because of all those sell imbalances. As we said earlier, it wasn't like it was a terrible report, but just a slight miss on the guidance. And they got punched a bit, and there's some concerns with regards to competition in their space from AI, specifically with some of the video rendering they're able to do. So if you're looking for an SSR bounce, this is the one down 10%. Might give you a little something. And Apple just hit the teens.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So I was going to talk about Adobe, but you guys already know my opinion.
I should have moved it to like 172 even.
All right. So I just punched out a little bit there on Apple because it's not... Stupid me.
Futures just broke support too.
Yeah, I punched out for flat there. Stupid me, but we'll wait. I only punched out of a third of it. Okay. I mean, come on. As if, guys. But okay. We'll see what happens here with Apple. Now they're starting to go back up. We're long at 172.11. So that's what we're long. I punched out of a third of it. I did have a decent order down there. Let's go. I did have a decent order down there because I didn't expect this to come in. So we're basically trading this like it's open right now. I did get scared there because like it just fell right in. I was going to talk about Adobe. So we did punch out a sum there, but here we go, man. We're long 172. This is the sticky note level. I never ever, the imbalances for the NASDAQ aren't out yet. And it's a witching day. Okay, so, we have to, I feel like we have to be very, very careful about what we're doing here because If this market turns around here, especially there, we'll take another fill there. We took another fill there at 35. If this market turns around with these imbalances, this name could absolutely tank. Like if Apple comes out with a sell imbalance, this is going to get smoked. So be very, very careful here. And it could go completely the other way, right? This could come out as a buy imbalance. So let's put something out at like 172.80. Maybe we get the fill up there and we start to stay spinning. So yeah, Adobe, look, I like those levels. Same thing as Neil. I think it got hit way too much, but this is what happens. It's still a growth stock. I feel like there's a lot of catalysts there to believe in for Adobe. But right now we're believing in Apple, but we're long. We're out of 30% already of what we had left. Okay, so we've exited it. We've already got, there it goes. See that? Boom.
Bye.
Right there. Bye-bye. So we got in and got out there right away once it broke lower. So there goes Apple right there down to the downside. So spin that money into a fail because it just went down. And here's the imbalances. Stupid, honestly. It's really stupid.
The imbalances come out at 925.
And I was saying that too. I was like, well, these imbalances could go either way. But there's Apple and Amazon both coming with monster sells. Remember we said that before? Damn it, Sean. Honestly, dude, that's a huge fail for me. I sat here 15 minutes ago and said, look at all the sells, Walmart, this and that, all the buys. I've never heard of any of these buys, except for Fisker. Look at all these solid companies that are all sells. When did we talk about that? Up here when the NASDAQ was about 100 points higher? Anyways, makes me sick. Anyway, nice move downside.
They don't always tank on those imbalances. It's not 100% of the time. I am into Rivian. I thought we'd get something in the 11s. I had the same position. I'm long, and I took the L on Apple. But you're not gonna at that time of day. I don't want to hold. I don't want to hold that. I want to see if we can get back into it after the open when things calm down a bit. But Rivian, I didn't get the fills, and then it broke down off 11. So was able to get some on the way back into the downside there. Some at 95, most of it at 96 and 97, so 96 average price. Gonna give it to that pre-market high that we're talking about. Oh, shoot, we're not actually done the rundown. Let's go back to the desk.
Let's talk crypto here. 2 days in a row downside for Bitcoin as we get this pullback, much needed pullback. But we're just coming into 2-week levels here. 65 comes into play early on, a little bit below. Back to 68,000 right now, but everything crypto related following suit here on the equity side.
Yeah, a couple of equity and crypto adjacent names here. Mara Digital looking to buy another mining company for the tune of $87.33 million from Texas, Garden City, Texas. With respect to Coinbase, they got a nod today from JP Morgan analyst Kenneth Worthington. He maintains the neutral rating on Coinbase, but does raise the price target from 95 to 150. So eyes on some of these equity names.
Yeah, with stocks downside anyways here, more pressure, guys, for all of these ETFs.
I guess my
under pressure.
My offers aren't getting filled here, just my bids. We got filled on Micron as well, and then we got filled at 93, and then we got out right there at 93.27. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's coming back up again, so we'll see if it gets filled back. Or we got 30s. I don't know what we got, but it went right into the money, so we took that. We are back into Apple long as this market. Whoa, Apple just tanked again, by the way. Oh, what is happening?
Whoa, now it's ripping.
No,
never mind.
It's going the other way.
It went 170 to 170,
yeah, I got
150.
punched out there at 171 there. There's some craziness happening right now.
Whoa, hey, what
in
the
this
heck?
name. There might be news or something about Apple because this
is witching movement.
Yeah, this is witching movement. Good call there, Neil, because yeah, we are getting moved around a little bit here. We are long again on this name. I'm trying to buy this against 170. There is a lot of freaking action right now here, which was not expected by me. Anyways, here comes a nice move back up to the upside here. We'll wait. Like I'm waiting now at 170.12. I'm long right now at 171. It's not like this is a good position or anything. Let's see if we can get some more out. We're just trying to lick our wounds on taking these positions a little bit too early here. We do have Micron as well. That wicked a little bit lower. So let's see if we can get something out in case this one pops here off open. But yeah, wow. There's a lesson right there real quick about what can happen in the pre-market.
I'm not going to make this
on
up.
Special days.
I just punched out flat half of my Rivian position because of the volatility that just sort of came in. I'm like, why even be? I just literally took out half of it right at 97 when I was short 96. So I lost a cent on that, and we got about a minute to go. In terms of crypto, I'll just as quickly as I can reiterate what we said earlier, that the last couple of times IBIT and BTC has had spikes to the downside and held support. They've been good. So I'm looking at this 37.5 to 38 area. If there is a wick bottom that holds this level, I'd be looking to go long back up through, but that's a very specific setup. I still think you can short pops in Mara, but the levels are pretty far away from me today. And you want to have levels that give you some breath, I think, today on the crypto names. So I am looking at 19 and 21 still from yesterday's trade. We got 30 seconds to go. Remember, when it's triple witching, you will get extra volume and extra volatility. So either keep it tight to the vest or be very patient because you might get whipped around off of the open. There's nothing wrong with being patient and waiting to get into position. And like I said, I punched out half flat of the Rivian. It didn't even do much of anything. I just didn't want to get trapped as we are ending the week.
Yeah.
Ringing the bell in 3, 2, and 1.
All right, let's go. All right, so we're now opened up here. We're trying to find out where this market wants to go exactly. Of course, Apple just goes right back up to the upside there. All right, well, we're long now 80 cents in the money, but we're not pleased with it because we did take a hit on Apple, as there it goes now, back up $1, going upside now goes Apple. Of course, this happens to us, but whatever. It's a nice recovery here for AAPL. Let's just take the out here if we can get it. Oh, there it goes, right back up through 171. Man, this has been a fun morning, needless to say, here on Trader TV Live. I hope you're enjoying yourself because I am, but this has been a wild ride for sure. We're going to get some more out here on Micron as that's trying to go back into the money for us. Right now, Apple's a good one, Micron's a good one so far early, as there's those sell imbalances finally coming off. So now we can see what happens here moving forward. There's a nice move up for Tesla as well into some key areas.
Yeah, Tesla making a move. Rivian might actually break out higher. We did take some out there and got back in a better price, but if it cannot hold that pre-market top, then I'm going to jump out of that trade. I like some short pops if we can get them. I wanted Intel on a pop to 43, but it is flat bottom breaking.
Oh, no.
Why am I not? That's a flat bottom break, double bottom from yesterday. Why did I only like it off? You know what? I'm just going to take the flat bottom break. Rivian just came out. Got to keep it tight to the vest off these opens. You can play it two ways. You can either give things more room, take less shares, or less room, take less shares when you have witching. But if it gets higher to like 1175, I'll take a shot in it. Fisker, we mentioned this, didn't really talk too much about it. I'm leaning toward the short in Fisker. Obviously, that's just as a general trend. It is gapped to the upside, so let's be a little bit careful with this. It is still looking a little bit weak.
All right, Tesla's still trying to go a little bit higher. We're going to wait to see if we get like a 168 or so.
Wow.
That one, what now?
Adobe's wick bottom.
How much?
It went 10, 12 bucks off the bottom just now.
Oh my God, Adobe opened
Look
up
at the
flush
wick
to
bottom.
490 right there. Whoever was able to get that one. That's what we talked about earnings plays. And you know what? Especially on
Oh, this could be a long
witching.
off 500 now.
You know, right there. Okay, so we're still in this name right here, Micron, trying to see if it can have some room. It's been breathing off of this 92.30 level, so we'll put another bid down there. I don't know if it's going to hold that or not, but again, you know, I like the upgrade here, but if the market doesn't go, then neither will this. So we already kind of know that, and but we are trying to piece a little bit out. We only are long here at 84. Our best outs have been up here at, there it goes. Okay, so our best outs have been here at 93. We just took another one. Now we wait a little bit higher as we make back pretty much everything that we lost earlier on being an idiot with taking all those trades against the imbalance. So we'll watch out for that one, and it's too funny because we're right about Apple. It's gone up since the open. It's gone straight up, but you know, we had to suffer through some of those bad decisions about that earlier on. So, all right, we're still going to wait. Apple, we're trying to be patient with it. AMD starting to go. All right, we wrote down a level for AMD, didn't we? So we are sitting here at 192, but that's still a ways away again as well. Come on, Micron, let's go. Now Micron's starting to get back up to the upside. Here we go, guys. This is a 50-cent winner at least for Micron.
Yeah, I'm in Intel off the bottom. Shorting on the break to the downside, but I liked AMD a little bit lower than that. I don't know where my lines have gone on the chart. Let's go to the 15-minute. It's going to be a little bit more clean. I liked 189, so we're only a couple of dollars away. And an open like this, I'm going to get a beak wetter in there just to be sure. Tesla's making some power moves. We're going to go to Dare in a second, but NVIDIA is a little bit weakish, down 1%. Remember the 850 level. That's a big, big level for NVIDIA. If that gets taken out, it could get pretty nasty. Let's go to Adara.
WW up over 20% here right off the open on really strong volume. This one had a week Wednesday and Thursday on this report that the company was looking for a lawyer for debt talks. Now this morning, there's an internal memo from the CEO basically saying they still feel confident in their growth. The company's announced that they do think they will beat their previously listed guidance. So nice move up here with WW over 15% short float, guys.
All right.
Yeah, I was like, the talk was like bankruptcy for them. But we'll see if that happens. Intel's the only thing I'm in. We'll circle back to some of the crypto names that I know when the imbalances came out that kind of distracted everything. Mara is getting close. It's bouncing a little bit. It's getting close to that resistance from yesterday in the afternoon and also late morning, that 1830 level. Just want to play off of resistance there. If it breaks it out, do not want to fight it. Apple is settling itself down. I got stopped early just as well. Now it's looking a little bit more stable. And was waiting for it to start to show me some real green. Now it's showing green out the 170, 150 area. So now I'm going to look long. Things have calmed down. I think you've gotten that open selling, and maybe looking for the bonds will make a little more sense now.
Yeah, we're short right now on AMD, and we just took a good little trade there on the upside. Oh, come on, we were just bidding 40s there, and it bounced off of us. This is wild ride again here today. Get down into those 40s again. So now we're short 69er, but here it goes up to 187. This is not going to be a good trade if it breaks 187, but for right now, bang, bang, bang. We'll take the reload as it comes back into the downside right now. Good trade here. This is another big one. We did it again here on AMD, hopefully. We are putting some bids out now like crazy just to make sure that we cover, because boom, there it is right now. We'll go a little bearish on these names here as we go. Let's get some out of out of Micron for a nice little win there. There goes AMD down $1. Apple's now $1 in the money. Good trading here. Sorry about those early bids on Apple. That really sucks for me as well. But we're starting to go back up to the upside right now on some of these names. Look at the market, not doing anything here in the NASDAQ. Pick your poison today, I feel like.
Always pick your poison, but just make sure it doesn't kill you.
Right, exactly.
That's the key. Be like what's the guy's name from Princess Bride? Now it's going to bug me. Vasily, I believe, is his name. Or not like him. You don't want to be like him. You want to build up a tolerance to the poison.
Right.
So I'm into Apple to the long side. That smells great.
Trying to get that tolerance right.
I want 172 breaking, and if we break 172, I'd be maybe looking for places to add. But I'm still going to be shorting the chip names. We're in Intel. AMD didn't come to my price, but look at NVIDIA. It just bounced off at 860. You now have an 875 level as resistance. So right off the top, it's gone once, twice, kind of hard to see, but there's a bit of a wick, to $875. If it breaks it, maybe we get a flat top break. Those have been good, but I got to be thinking shorts until proven otherwise. And the same thing with ARM. ARM pushed into that 131, but not quite. 131 and 135 have been the two levels to play on ARM. I still believe in the short to pop there after the IPO lockup expired.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was another name that I looked at yesterday, but didn't give too much love to it. I should have given more. Okay, yeah, Micron still staying out up here. It's a good trade. We like the 93 long. Let's try to sit in it for a minute just to see if it does want to work. We're all actually, now that I say that, we only have 30% left. We got all these fills all the way up here into 50, so that was pretty good. We'll wait for that. But here comes, again, I don't know, we should have been reloaded up here. I don't know why we're not on AMD, but we're only short at, we're short at 85. We're waiting for a little bit more closer to 87, but we'll see here. We're waiting in the 80s. Watch out for that take of 187.20 or so. Look at that fill we just got, 185.90. So that was $1 right there on that fill. We're going to still see if Apple can go. But then after that, man, the only other name that we've been looking at here is IBIT. So let's have a quick look to see what IBIT's doing. We wrote down on the sticky note 38. I mean, we sort of talked about this a little bit in the pre-show there. Now you're bouncing. So I wanted to wait for 67,000 or so for a key level. Oh, no, here we go. But only reason I say oh, no, which I shouldn't because it's not an oh, no at all. There goes AMD. It just we didn't get the reload there at the 200 period moving average. So down another $1. And here comes right back up again. See? Wow. There seems to be that bottom down there. Where am I bidding? I'm bidding 185.40.
It's not alone.
Are other names finding bottoms here?
NVIDIA is pretty much at the bottom. It just didn't get up there for the short.
Okay.
I said be picky. You could be picky about things, but I like that hold on Micron at that 83 or that 93, and I took it as well. But I was telling myself I was going to get into an NVIDIA short, and then that just didn't even happen. So we took the long one. It looked like it was holding a higher low. If it can't hold on to this local bottom of 75, we're going to jump out of it. Apple's again looking weak. It can't hold on to the 50 level, so that one's going to come out. Wait a minute. I have a piece left of Apple. All right. It's right at the same price I put it. I'm just getting out of Apple. It broke that 50. It's a dump, but I just missed that curl on NVIDIA. Didn't quite get back up into the mid-70s there to trade it off of 875, but it is looking like a little bit of a dump here in the market. I'll show you not Rivian in a quick second, but Tesla Higher lows on Tesla, that's looking strong. Fisker already dumping. So Fisker broke the bottom. It was up double digits, but let's be real. It's a penny stock. Double digits aren't that impressive. I still think that's a short the pop situation there. Crypto, nothing crazy yet.
Like, this has been such a wild ride here. Like, look what just happened. These are 1 minute candles. So we just got out at 185.60 and then just reloaded a minute later at 186.70. So it's like, this is wild, and we're going to try to get, oh, what? We just missed a bid down there. Oh, no, we got the, like, look at this. Look what we're doing right now. So, like, we could still get stopped out, but you have to understand, like, you know, some of these movements that are happening here are giving you many, many scalp opportunities so that you shouldn't really be too stuck when and if this does break higher, because there's been opportunities to get out. So just be careful. Here it goes. So this, you know, we will, again, here it goes. We'll still be up on this name no matter what happens now, which is what you're trying to do, right? So here we go. Let's see what happens. We're starting to pick some more out here as we're short at 88, and we just covered some in the 70s again right there. So there it is, back in the 70s again. So if this does tank in, obviously we'll have a nice little winner, but we are starting to piece them out. There it is. I was just going to say, with watching this recent high, and there goes the recent high back up to the upside. So we do have Micron down here in case the chip names want to go a little bit. We are waiting for a 92 give up here on Micron, which seems to be coming a little bit faster than we thought. So watch out for that one right now for Micron. Just faded out a little bit. As there goes AMD. Good punch out, right? Let's see where it goes now. AMD up to 188.
Oh, no way.
What the hell is NVIDIA doing on this run? 875. Okay, so let's just sit in Micron maybe, but that doesn't seem to be moving at all, which is strange to me, but we'll buy some dips here on MU.
Wow, NVIDIA's trying to hold on to 875. If I was trading breakout longs, I'd probably be already in this one, but the first short off of this level was great. The second one, if you took it, which I don't take it the second time, is looking like now it looks like it might be okay. Gimme, gimme, gimme. It just came back underneath. I'm gonna give this to 75 half, because if it retakes it, I wanna give it a little bit of room. I just got the 90s short. If this takes out 76, it's probably a long on NVIDIA. Get down. Give me some 73s. Give me 73s. Tesla. I'm going to get to Tesla in a quick little second and some of the EV names. Print 73s. It was just at 73 on the bid. You throw a bid in there, and it just runs away from you. But short NVIDIA is a bit perilous because the last couple of days, when it's found an early bottom, there have been breakouts off those levels. So if it takes out, forget about 76, maybe call it like 78 or 80. Those could be breakout levels on NVIDIA. But till then, we're looking short. So the short just gave a couple of dollars. You know my style. I'm going to be getting out if we get to the 66 level. I always like to play it to key levels, especially early. And on a witching day, I think that's almost doubly true. In some ways, it actually might make sense to be getting out if it holds 70 even, because it is an options expiration. But breakouts can happen as well. I want to go back over to Tesla, was what I promised I would talk about next. Sorry about the wicks. Tesla's holding higher lows. Tesla looks pretty strong. It was higher lows into a flat top at 165.25. So 165 on the top there. Tesla could end up being a breakout. Look left when everyone's looking right, apparently, is what Tesla's saying.
It's funny because, like, the market's coming in here, so we could take a bath here on Micron. Let's wait to see. We're long at 92.50, but it is coming in into 92 right now. So remember we were talking about getting out, and then we reloaded it here. So this is a second trade for us on Micron. So it looks like this one will be, unfortunately, the slip up right there. And AMD went up as high as, I've only traded 3 names so far. AMD went as high there as 88.50. So that's something interesting to look at as well. Let's go over to it, Darren, as Apple's coming into 171. The market's really coming in here.
Small cap earnings name popping up on volume here. CDLX, this is Cardlytics. They did post an EPS beat and a slight sales miss, but they project Q1 revenue way above the estimate there. So nice look for CDLX, 11.1% short float, guys.
Everyone's going to do their own style. For myself, I told you the plan of action. If I saw a bid off of 866, I'm getting out of the NVIDIA 75 short. We took some out for the first $2 scalp, then we take the rest out in front of 860. Trailed it out in front of 868. So it's almost $7 on that trade. And I still believe with this market making fresh lows, NVIDIA's trying to put in higher lows. You got to be cautious about that. If NVIDIA's trying to put in higher lows, that can be a danger zone for the shorts. If it's breaking out tops when everyone's thinking bearish, I do not want to get trapped. It's a witching day, so I want to get in and out early on those trades. Oh yeah, I'm in this. Okay, so AYX is a buyout that is closing today. So it's probably not going to move much. I just realized that that's actually showing up. I am in it, but if you're expecting movement on that stock, you're going to be very disappointed.
Ouch. Nice trade there. Sick trade on NVIDIA.
And if it does move, you'll see me cry.
No, we will not be seeing anybody cry here today, but unless something happens to Neil, I guess.
It literally shouldn't move, but if it does.
Or if Sharif's monitors go off for 5 seconds, we could have another moment there. Okay, so here we go.
I'm panicking.
He's panicking. Are you panicking, Sharif? Is everything all right over there? He's all right now. He's all right now. He's not. He's only panicking because there's 26 eggs in there now. He missed the one from.
You got a 27
there.
That last egg is
panicking for the lack of protein. Right now. All right, Apple. We did get a little bit of an Apple dip buy, but unfortunately we only got part filled down there. So there it is. We'll take a little piece out here as it starts to get back up to the upside. We're just long at 35. We got a 50 fill, so we'll take that. I don't know. We're just trying to scalp around a little bit. We are waiting for a little bit lower. I'm bidding 171.30s here, so I don't know why we're just getting part filled, but we'll try again right now to see if we can get that a little bit lower than where we are right now, as we discussed. So that should come in. There goes Micron. We talked about that spin it. Geez, for Micron, right there up to the upside. A nice little move for this one. As we're long at 92.20. And there we are. We'll take another piece out at 88. And now we'll wait for 93s to come through here on Micron. And let's hope that we will get that, because that's where we're waiting. So again, dip buy opportunities. I told you what we're doing, man. We're trying to stick with the damn plan. And that is to trade things that we feel confident in and that we've looked at, we've written down, and we've done the work on. So although we're not right on the price of Micron, I told you the market, if we took bids when the market was up or down 0.5, what's going to happen when the market goes down 1.5? When the market was down 0.3, I said we could be in for a minus 1.5 day. And right now, there it is, man, straight to the downside for right now. But Neil, you traded NVIDIA
I just
to the
got
short
AMD.
side.
Oh,
but
my
AMD
goodness.
is what I was going to tell you is starting to rip. Maybe it's just AMD related here. I don't really know.
Looks like I picked the wrong day to quit. No, I shouldn't finish that line from that airplane, because that's serious. AMD just came up to 189. That's the level that I like, so I'm short 188.5. I've Daryl Strawberry'd my entry here, so anyone that understands that's the price. You have no idea who Daryl Strawberry is. That's fine. If we get back down to VWAP, I should probably be taking this out. Obi and Daryl Strawberry?
No, he'd be someone that I have no idea who that is.
Oh, yeah, he has no idea who Daryl Strawberry is. If we get to 187, that is VWAP and an ominous number. I'm now short in Fisker. I'm going to work into this Fisker short. And again, I just scalped out of AMD for a 50-cent win, because to me, I'm surprised that actually filled under those circumstances. Market at the lows and AMD is going to fill the top. That's not the situation I was expecting. I'm trying to short Fisker back into VWAP here. I just got 18 cents, but I'm going to work into it off the 19 level and see if we can't get it. John C. knows, the Doc, Gary Carter, Mookie Wilson, Ray Knight. I could go all day with that. Ron Darling. Fantastic team, obviously back in the day.
Yeah, oh yeah, they got them all, man. They got them all.
And Bill Buckner was an unbelievable help to them in the World Series.
Yeah, he's a great third baseman. Okay, so here we go. All right, or first baseman, sorry. Let's get ready to go here. We are starting to join Neil here, but we're at a different price. We're at 188 right now. I want to give this to, honestly, I feel...
NVIDIA might...
I know, so I almost want to give this to 190, but that's way too much. But again, we're not in too many shares yet. I was just thinking about getting back into the short somewhere, which is kind of crazy because we're $1 in the money on the Micron long, or we were. We just shot up there into 93.15. We'll put an offer there in case that happens. So yeah, good trade so far here on Micron, but we've lost on AMD, but very, very small amount. But we are short on AMD right now again. So this is a second trade as we look to go short on AMD right here at 187.90. We'll put some bids in the 60s. Then we'll go down here and see that bid stopped out and in around the 50s. So if we get a break, we'll try to take that. But here we go, right back up to the upside. Honestly, maybe 189, 189.50, something like that is something. I don't know. The market's down, and I just know AMD's been pretty weak. So right there, 189, 189.30s.
Oh,
I feel like it's going to be a stop. So let's average in all the way up there and see what happens. See if Micron can go with it.
Oh yeah, I'm a bit of a doofus. I'm like, why am I not getting filled on Fisker when I'm hitting the bid?
What is it at now?
Oh, it's short sell restricted, man.
Oh, right.
Fisker was down over 10% yesterday. You can't hit the bid without an uptick. So all I can do is get on the offer and look for a fill.
Right.
Like that's Like all that means is like I can literally cross down and be trying to hit the bid at 18, and then I'll just be repriced to the offer and then get the fill on the offer. I was wondering like why am I getting it on the way down, up easy, but I'm not getting it on the way down. So anyways, that doesn't really matter that much. NVIDIA is starting to cruise to the upside again. I really don't want to be reloading this. This feels like it could do its higher lows into a flat top, and if it breaks out that top, it could absolutely go squeezing through the quad. So we'll see what happens. I'm short Fisker still, and I just got into AMD. Apple took out that 171.5 on that last bounce play, but look at it start to hold. Sorry about that wick, guys. The wicks were doing so well this morning. And now it has a higher low at 171.25. So the higher low, 171.25, 171 even has held for Apple. So if I'm going for a long again in that name, it'll be off of 171 at 171.25 for an entry. So I still want to be playing some strength now that it's found some support. We'll see if we can get it. AMD's coming back in. I want to try and reload that one. 189 is going to be the stop. I took some 1-to-1. If I get in again, it's got to be at a better price.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way here. I've been reloading some AMDs up here and then trying to get some out, but at the same time, it's not really doing anything. We got some covers down here in the 90s again, but we don't have much happening. We'll put some more bids down here in the 80s, but if this goes to the high side, we are going to be averaging into this one. I just don't want to lose too much, hopefully, on this. What's up, Adara?
Another small cap earnings name here, EHang. This one very much to the upside, up about 18% in gaining volume. This one posted a beat across the board, and they do have a short float of just under 11%. So keep an eye on EH, guys.
Money right here. So like I said, man, AMD's not even on this list, and yet I see myself like fighting it. I say this all the time, just stick with your damn plan. Look at Micron, man. Micron has been a gem, honestly.
Pardon?
We got out of this here. This was a reload down here at 92. So to get this back out at 93.50 right now, I mean, this is only a $90 stock, man. Like that's a nice move back up there to the upside. Let's see if we can hold on to that for a little bit more. But we did talk about, at some point, trying to figure this name out. And that, of course, is going to be my friend, not for long maybe, AMD. So we're trying to short this up to that one, I said 189.30. I'm going to use that level as my stop out level, so I'm averaging into that as if I'm going to have a position when we get up to there. So right now we're building it. We have about half of the shares that we want. If this dips back into 188, we'll take some out, and then we'll be able to hold for a bigger move down in, because I still think 187.50 is in play. But at the same time, man, like it's only, it's 9:52. I actually thought it was earlier than that.
Almost 10 o'clock.
It's almost 10 o'clock. But again, the whole thing about all of this is it's too early to make huge plays right now, especially with this market hovering around and doing nothing. So there it is. We got another piece out of, there it is. See that? Like we just get that fill down there, right? So let's see now if AMD can continue to play this little bit of a dance back and forth here.
Oh, it's definitely dancing. The
Yeah,
question is, when the music stops, is it going to be above or below that 189? I'm still tracking towards what looks like a breakout at 876 on NVIDIA. That's wild because a second ago, I thought this was like the great short, and now it's starting to look like a break long at 876. I don't even have my order out, Neil. That's silly. Why are you talking without an order out? Okay, order's out. I just wanted to have a stop. But if it breaks, I don't know how much room I want to give it because I was favoring shorts today. No question about it. So I'm going to give it not a wide berth on this breakout. So there's the break. It just got through the buck, and immediately someone's dumping at the dollar level. Why do I not believe in it like the other days? Yeah, if it gives me the buck on the first bit, I'm going to take it this time because I have a tighter stop. Like I'm not even giving it that much room back and through. So I want to make sure that we grab some profit locally. And of course, we're short AMD, which could break the 189 here. So let's see if NVIDIA is going to continue that push. I'm not the biggest believer, so I'm probably going to be taking this into $880 and then see if there's a breakout at that level worth taking again. Because I think that could be a bigger one. 880. So I'm going to get out in front of 880 and then try and reassess this one on NVIDIA, which is pressing to the upside. The NASDAQ actually got back above 18.1 as well, undercover.
Neil, don't stop believing. Okay.
Great song.
Yeah, believe in. All right, here, let's see if we get some downside pushes right now because I'm trying to believe here in AMD. So let's believe that we are going to go to the downside. Okay, how about that? So here goes, a nice little move back in here. We are short at 80s. We are starting to ring some Reggies here. We did talk about trying to play for a bigger move. So let's wait to see now if it does come back in as we start to capture a little bit of profit here, being 40 cents in the money on a name that's only ripped today. So let's put another bid down at the quarter level, and I'll scratch that and put one right here at 36 and take that, and then take
Berlin.
Almost. No,
First
we
we
did
take
it.
Manhattan.
Yeah. Did we get that, Phil? And there it is. Yes, sir. So let's go, man. Brrr, back and forth there. A little face slapping action happening for us on AMD. As we are hella positive today on Micron, we are hella positive temporarily on AMD, and we are negative on Apple because I was an idiot again because we were in too early. We talked about all those imbalances, and unfortunately, your boy was in them and got clocked out when we took down 171. Like an idiot as well, I was not bidding down here at 170, which is the most obvious of trades. But right now, we are long Apple. Let's take a piece out here at 74 as we self-deprecate more. But there we go. Nice move up for Apple. Bang on that one. So, you know, oh, we're back. That didn't take too long. And there it is. Nice move on Apple coming back into the downside upside as AMD, again, bouncing off 188.
For the record, when NVIDIA is at $900, just play back the tape where I was like, I don't believe in the long.
Man.
Every single flat top break that's set up this way has been worth at least $6 or $7 on NVIDIA. Today, I played it for $3, and even then, like the average out's gonna be like $1.70, which for NVIDIA is not a heck of a lot. I had a really tight stop on that, but this early long, the way that's set up has been really, really good, and I talked myself out of it, holding onto it. And I'm now out of AMD. I got some out. I got most of it out in front of that quarters, but that's about the only thing that was good. And then now it's breaking 189. So sometimes bias will get the best of you. I don't like being upset when you have a good series of trades, but at the same time, I should have maybe given this a little bit more chance to breathe on NVIDIA. We'll be patient. See if we can't find a dip buy. I was able to get more shares of Fisker, but look, when it's SSR, like I was trying to get it up here, I had to get 18 2s when I was trying to get 18 halves. Then I had to get 17 9s when I was trying to get more. I just ended up having to keep trailing it to the down, not trailing it, but crossing it down because it's short sell restricted. I'm gonna get a little bit on the bid at 17, and then 16, and then 15, and then 14, and you get the idea.
We just reloaded AMD there, and now it's starting to go to the downside. We just got 189s right there, so we just put 50 more cents there in the pocket. We'll bid again here at 65 and put that in our pocket there. So good. So far, let's go now to the downside, man. Now we'll see if we get that 188 and change piece that we are looking for here. Apple did fall back in, so that was a decent out there in the 70s, right? Decent reload here as well for AMD. Let's see if we can take a buck on the reload. Let's bid down here at 188. I'm surprised I didn't have a bid there already. I have too many bids out, that's for sure, so we'll cancel that. Now let's see if we dip in. So we should have had a bid down there. I'm surprised we didn't. Apple with a dip buy as well. We talked about being long at that 31 level, so let's put some offers out here. Take a dime, see if it wants to go up. Let's go AMD. That's a good reload spot, man. I don't even care if we get this bid or not. There it is. There. Man, we're hitting these emojis a lot today. There we go, our animations. Nice little move to the downside right there again. So AMD is going to be my number. Well, no, Micron's going to be my number one stock today, but AMD does have a chance to get to that level, especially if Tank City happens, which we're trying to have right now. We'll still watch out for Apple down here. There goes AMD again, flushing through 188. So, man, this is a big trade here for me. Taking that 189, we talked about 189.30. So if my stop is 189.30 and I'm now in the money $1, you know, against a 30-cent stop, that's 3-1. Looking for 4-1 right now. We are bidding down at 187.50. So, damn, Daniel. Like, this is a nice move to the downside right now, man, and you're still going lower right there off VWAP. So, Brittany, we did it again.
What the hell was that, Sharif?
Oh, Sharif's just lifting some weights over here.
I'm sorry, like that was just a little bit weird. I'm glad you held on to that AMD because I got out of that. I got stopped out of it, but I'm back in Intel. I'm 0 for 1 on Intel today because we took the flat bottom break. It was not part of the plan, and then you saw it breaking low when the market's tanking. I'm like, okay, I gotta have it because if it flushes to 41, I need to be in that trade. But the plan was to be short off of yesterday's resistance.
Wow.
Look at it wick that top, so I'm in there off 43. Fisker continues to flush. I have my next bid at $16. But the market's coming back in. Obviously, the long could have been a little bit better on NVIDIA, but I wasn't necessarily believing in the long. I thought that was maybe a bit of a trap. So we'll take our shots. Sometimes when you get in and out quick, it ends up looking really good, and other times it looks really bad. You've just got to stay true to your own style. Apparently, we've been completely ignoring Tesla, which is now giving up the ghost. So 160 about to come into play on Tesla. That could be a crowded trade, but sometimes when there's a trap out there, all you can do as a trader is bring it. But what we also have to do is, apparently it's 10 o'clock already, so let's get to Adara for happening now.
Currently waiting on a slew of economic data. One of the key numbers here going to be that Michigan consumer sentiment. Consensus and forecast here, 76.9. We just got in 76.5, so marginally lower than expected here. We also have 5-year inflation expectations incoming at 2.9, so the same as the previous. 3% for the inflation expectations preliminary. That's the same as expected here. So generally numbers slightly lower or coming in exactly as expected for these Michigan consumer sentiment related numbers. SPY itself not reacting too much to this, a little bit of an uptick, but generally to the downside after some weakness in the session yesterday led by a lot of these chip names and tech names. Also worth noting as well, Bitcoin has been pretty weak so far today, so a little bit of weakness across the board on these markets. Some individual names to keep an eye on though, including Adobe, now down over 13%. On lower than expected revenue forecasting here. It is worth noting they did announce a $25 billion share repurchase program. Also here, Rivian up about 4.5% after getting an upgrade to overweight by Piper Sandler with a $21 price target. Lots of names to keep an eye on here as the market continues to get going, guys.
I don't know. We can ask Sharif for a coffee. Where is Sharif? He's somewhere around here. Okay. All right. So we did get a nice little bid there on Apple down at 171.30, and we've been taking it out here. So we've been talking about going long Apple. When I review the sticky note here today, we have Apple long, we have Micron long, we have AMD short. So like we're positive on everything except this Apple trade, because we got hit early. So in the open market today, it's been a beautiful trade. We're basically 2 for 2. We have Micron and AMD. So we've just been sort of milking these two stocks. We only have a 10% less than 10% left now on Micron because it got up to the 200. We talked about that. We talked about getting out here at VWAP as well and at 93. So we're pretty much out of that. And unfortunately, this is not unfortunately. We never have the full load on this one, but we at least still have 20% as we go $1, $2 now on AMD. So a nice little trade there as another top idea here on the sticky note. The first one was Apple long. The second one was Microsoft long. The third one is AMD short. So AMD short right now, a banger as it's trying to break through 187.
Shout out to you, Tisha Perkins. Verb is the word.
Is it the word? Yep.
Yeah, I was sort of sitting on that one for too long there. But this stock is breaking out, as you can obviously see, and 50 cents. There's 50 cents and there's $1. Those are obviously key levels for any penny stock. I do like this 40-cent level here. You can also go back into VWAP. Let's go to the 3-minute, because that's around VWAP. If it dips and fails the 50 break and holds 40, I actually like the looks of this for a long. But a 50-cent break a second, a third time would be great. Like if it dips here, higher low, and then a third time, I would maybe go for that breakout trade. So Verb is on my mind. 122 million shares at 10 o'clock. This thing has a shot at $1 billion today. And the news is they launched, Market Live launches Facebook and Instagram social shopping technology integration. Yada, yada, yada. Big companies that are good, penny stock goes wild. Yeah, still have this wick on Apple, but we waited for the quarters to go long in front of the evens. It popped into the 50s, took some out, and it's still tracking a little bit lower here. So I'm down on Apple. Apple's kind of sucked this morning so far, but we'll see if it can bounce now through as the market's trying to hold on to some bottoms as we speak. Tesla managed to catch a bid off of 160. So the 160 break on Tesla is going to have to wait temporarily. A little bit of a bid here off 161.
Yeah, we're gonna try Apple as well because it's funny because it's the only name that we have 3 names. We're only red on one of them here, and that is Apple, and that's my own stupidity as we talked about. All right, so let's wait to see what happens now. We'll take a little bit. Oops, that's AMD. Sorry, guys, we're in that one. But here's Apple right now. So let's see now what Apple wants to do for us. You know, hopefully a nice move. We are longs. We just bought some 30s. We are going to buy some more 71s and then see if something comes in from that. So right now, that's what we're doing. We're trying to see about a 71 here bid on Apple. I was going to be a little bit more aggressive on this, but I'm bidding 71.05. Sorry, 08. So if it does come into that level, then we'll take a little bit. I'll put a little bit here at 20s. There we go. We'll take a 24 fill. But we, you know, if this drops below like 71, we're not going to hold it for too much lower than that. So here we go. We made a lot of money back on AMD, obviously, and on Micron. But it looks like we're digging a hole again on the only name that we haven't won on. But you know what? Apple, honestly, I think it's the same for Neil. Like, this move was not a move that we had planned. Like, that was a stupidness. The problem is, remember when I first got that bid at 172 and I punched out immediately? Like, hello? Like, that was the right move, right? There was nothing else to do there except for
Actually,
well, because it came in and we weren't expecting it. If you ever get a fill that you're not expecting.
Usually you get right out. Like, I covered half of Rivian because of that, the imbalances and the shock that it had. But the lesson of the day is related to this and how you treat differently the different types of losses that you have and try to have in the pocket. But I'm trying to get ARM because ARM failed that 131 level. So remember 131? I like 131. It did the wick above. I'm going to give this probably somewhere into the 1/2 to 2 range there, somewhere in the middle. You never want to diddle too much in the middle. But we're looking for that wick. If it got to 35, I would have shorted that level instead. What else is happening? Fisker broke the low again. Intel's starting to come back down, and the market just took the low.
Fisker broke the low? Oh my God.
It's like it gapped up.
I'm trying to buy them.
This is basically just like, remember Bed Bath & Beyond? If you really want to take a shot at the short when these things gap up on the potential bankruptcy, you have to be willing sometimes to be sitting in it in the pre-market and then willing to just have a stop above because you might not get a better chance than the one you get in the pre-market. And I've learned that lesson today. I should have been sitting in it because it was short sell restricted. Like I couldn't short, like you couldn't short it as it was breaking down. You had to get on the way up. So if you sit it in the pre-market and build a position, just have yourself a stop. Intel just popped back into 4270. You took the L the first time. Now we're going to try and power this one up as the market is on a collision course for 18,000. Right quick. As a matter of fact, we're going to be there in a matter of seconds. Hold on to your butts, everybody. I just got out of my Apple long. That didn't last very long. Risked about 30 cents on that one. And we'll take another L on an Apple long. I did get some out in front of 50, but then it broke that bottom. Nasty, nasty day. And what's crazy is you saw it with all the sell imbalances.
Yeah, we talked about that.
The only buy imbalance that was a company that any of us had ever heard of was Fisker. And it's a penny stock. And that's down.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad we brought that to your attention, guys. Like, you know, it's an important thing. We are now $2 in the money on AMD, but like Neil, we are sitting in this. Well, he's out, but we are in Apple long as we wait to see what happens with it. Okay, here it goes. We're back. Oops, we're back into the money now on Apple. We just got an 08 fill, which put us flat. There it goes, which put us flat in the money as we take a piece out. We only took out 20% right there, so we'll see if it goes higher. I am waiting in the teens, of course, to see if we could get. There it is. Okay, 17s, 18s. All right. Big trade alert. Big trade alert. You know, here we go. So Apple, this is a trade that we wanted. Could fall down. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a big trade or not, but at least it has a chance to go, right? So we're now 20 cents in the money. Our average price was 07s, so now it's an amazing 10 cents. But Apple's not. You know, it's not trading the way AMD's trading or anything like that. You know that on AMD we were bidding 187, 186.90, and it dropped to 186, I think it was 91 or something like that. I'm bidding there again. I don't know if I got missed again like we did yesterday, but okay, so let's see what happens with Apple now. Now it's starting to pull back in. I'm going to bid 187 clean now because we missed that bid down there on AMD, and we should have took that for $2. So Apple and AMD, and then Micron. Micron, I'm sitting in it. If Micron can get back to 92, fine. But I've already made sort of my bet on that one, so we'll just hold that. That's been, honestly, that's the cash register for me today is Micron. AMD's been good, and it's might be my #1 stock, but we have to wait for that still. And then there's Disney with a nice little dip buy opportunity as well.
Oh, I have your
what? I guess I must have. Oh yeah, there was a coffee request. Pick a number between 1 and 15.
Where my seat was.
What does that pick a number between 1 and 15 thing mean?
Huh?
All right. All right. I'll pick 13. Okay, so I pick 9. All right, here we go. So nice little upside move here for Apple, starting to finally go. So let's see if we get something here at 17. If that can come in, then that would be fantastic right now for that. So again, I'm much more long than I am short right now, because the AMD short, I told you, was only 15%, or sorry, yeah, 15% left of what we had, maybe a little bit higher than that actually. But the Apple trade is half of what we have. So let's see if Apple can go here, make a little bit of money on that long.
And speaking of longs, I'm not long this, but I feel like somebody's probably buying up some Intel in front of VWAP. Look, we lost on our first short. That was a flat bottom break. We took it out when it broke the pre-market high. Any short off of this is going to be a stop there for me. That's how I set up that trade. But then once it wicked the actual level we're supposed to be waiting for, Neil, the 43 level, it goes into VWAP. I'm taking most of it out here. I have a third left for it to break down. Again, that's just my style trade. ARM, believe it or not, ARM is breaking higher. Please leave a message at the beep. So I'm getting out of this. I said I would give it to about that 131.5. We're short underneath that 31 for a breakdown, but I do not want to be fighting things today. And when it's witching, it's like get in, get out, rinse, repeat, find singular trades, and if a trend really starts to develop after 10 o'clock, try to join that trend. I'm out of NVIDIA. There was a short, and then that same level we took for a flat top break for a scalp trade. I'm seeing higher lows, but I don't really see a defined top that I want to breakout trade on. So I don't really see anything next for NVIDIA for me. Obviously, if you get it clean a couple of ways, it'll end up a good stock for now, but I don't want to throw good money at bad. There's a trend in Fisker, and it's not to the upside. That is trending down. A little bit tricky to grab shorts because it's SSR. I'm on the bid in front of 16. We're short at 18, 17.9 actually, as that continues to flush. And not to forget you, Tesla.
Yeah.
Lower highs on Tesla heading down into, I can zoom in enough to get rid of that wick, heading down into the 160 level. So 161 hasn't broken yet, but 160 is a big, big, big bid for Tesla. Haven't traded any Alphabet today, but it is looking weak for me. I don't see the long just yet. I liked it when I sat down, but the trend has been in the other direction. So we don't want, like I said, I don't want to throw good money at bad at this point in the day.
Okay, well, we kind of did that right here with AMD because it's ripping to the upside right now, and it looks like we'll get stopped out on that one. It's funny because, well, it's not funny. We never want to lose. But we were just talking about, AMD is going to be our #1 stock, but it's position pending. And then we missed this fill by 1 penny. I'm pretty sure, but we're in it now anyways. This was the trade that we wanted. We wanted this short up here at this level, so I'm fine. We're long, we're short at 16s here. I thought we wanted this price, so let's see if it does come back in. But here it goes. If it breaks 50, which is going to happen right now, we're gone because we've seen this name break levels like right here when it broke 187, and then it just ripped up to 188.20. So definitely, did we just get stopped out there? I don't know how we just got stopped out there because it didn't break, but looks like we might have just got stopped out there on AMD. So I'm going to put a 189.61 there. I don't know what happened there, but all right, we got stopped out. So all right, here comes back in. That sucks. Like, what was up with that? Okay.
What's up with that?
No, that sucks because I had way more shares. I don't know why did that break? Maybe it didn't. I don't know. Anyways, I'll find the price.
No,
because I got punched out at 46 there. Oh.
46?
Yeah, so there must have been a dark pool or something that wicked higher. Oh, man, that sucks. Okay, damage done, but at least we got back in. But the problem is I only got back in half, which is why I'm a little bit
So as crazy as that market was,
jagged little pill.
In that time, remember the last thing I was talking about was VWAP on Intel, how somebody's buying shares in front of VWAP, so I'm going to get more out. It just went right back into 43. Like, that's how quickly it moved back in. So you take some out there so that you can get the fills back in front. I creatively enough shorted 98s instead of 99s. I don't even know why. I should have just sat at 99. You would have got the fill. I haven't gotten anything out of looking for the 80s. Maybe I should throw something in the mid-80s as well, something at the 85 range, because it's looking a little bit strong. You're getting higher lows. I see higher lows there. I'm seeing higher lows here. That's AMD. NVIDIA, I'm seeing higher lows, although it hasn't really broken that 880 again. And our favorite, the thing that we never actually talk about, SMCI. One of these is not like the others. SMCI is at the low of the day. down 3%. They are being added to the S&P 500 next week.
Right, yeah.
But that's not till next week. But it's at the low. So if you're looking for relative weakness, apparently SMCI is your huckleberry.
Yes, we're not even going to be red here on AMD because this may, I mean, remember the loss that we took there, we were short at 17s or 18s. We got out at 46s, so that's like a 22-cent hit or something. We just got, I mean, now we might get out and get hit here, but we just took a whole, here it goes. We just took a bunch out there at 189, like it just hit 189 a couple times. 06s, 07s, all that, so there it is. So now we can leave it alone. You guys know that we could be stubborn with this stuff, so let's let AMD go. We wrote down here AMD 192. Short. Like, I mean, it's ripping. It's not ripping. I mean, it's going to the upside here. I guess this is ripping, like Neil mentioned there. SMCI, the only one down. You're now down 1% on the NASDAQ, but up 1.5 here. So we're definitely not focused in the right areas. We're quite well aware of that. Apple's come back in as well. We'll take another dip buy area here, but again, our price is O's. So, you know, we're adding to a spot where we're sort of adding into a name here that we think can go, especially if we break that 50 period in strength with Apple. So we were going to give this one a little bit lower. It did break 170, but I was well aware of that and had my out at 170.80. So we'll see if that continues to be a thing here for Apple. But for right now, we'll buy it, and we'll buy it again against that 170.80. This time, maybe a little bit lower. Our last bid we got was in the 90s. So we'll see if we can get that again, as now AMD's at 190. So here we go.
Is this a breakout long?
I mean, the breakout long was probably where we got stopped out the first time at 187. But up here at 190 maybe is something. Yeah,
this is too high.
I don't know. I might just go short and then just try it against it. But I realized
NVIDIA might be better.
This is well up.
Too late. Never mind. In the time that I was kind of wondering whether I should take a break on, I was mulling whether I should take a breakout on AMD. NVIDIA broke 880 and is at 882.5, almost 883. Maybe we'll look at 885. Give me a consolidation, and we'll look 885. Intel, I should have taken those 80s, man. Now you can't even get it. This is going to probably take out the top as well on Intel. Strong moves to the upside. Mara is also making power moves. I know people talking about crypto. However, Mara is cresting at yesterday's close resistance levels. So watch out for this 18.5. I'm looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin just pulled back. Sorry, IBIT just pulled back underneath yesterday's lows. So that would suggest to me this might be a short here on Mara, if anything.
I just want everyone to understand, like, we just went short here. Again, you can see the price, 189.90, and I know this feels like death by many little small cuts, but look at this tank coming in right now. A tank, I mean, I don't know if it's a tank or not, but this is 40 more cents. Like, and we're taking these bids, you know? So it's not like, you know, we're just sitting here, you know, getting short and then getting rinsed. Every time we're getting out, it's on fractions of the shares. So, like, I just put another bid down there at 40. Hopefully it will come in and fill us. But we got a whole bunch of outs here at 50. We're short at 90s. So, I mean, right here you could see, and then here's a whole bunch of outs. So let me show it to you again right now on AMD. So it's like, here's us getting out, right? And here's some of these fills back in, and then there's another short. So if we do break, give me that 40 fill right now. Well, we'll look at the line up there at 40, of course. I don't think that's going to matter, though. If the momentum hits it, there it goes.
Not with this volume.
No, I'm just going to say, look at that. It just hit 40 and then right back up to 60 again as we go. But we are now into Apple, as we'll see if this one does have any juice to the upside right now, again, for Apple. And again, we piled on the shares. So, like, as this starts to move back up to the upside, we'll start to, like, take some out here. Again, it hasn't been the greatest day for Apple long. I mean, it's down on the day. So let's wait to see if that hits right now. But there's a couple more outs. We talk about, you know, whatever you want to do as far as not just your trading style, but how comfortable you are with where the market currently is. You know, I mean, that has to play a factor because right now the market's just doing nothing. So if you want to put your money in right now, remember, we're doing a show, we're talking about some of these trades, and we're actively trading, and we're getting in and out. You know, so be comfortable with some of the levels you're at, or else it's not really worth putting any money in right now. Like if NVIDIA can get to a key level, or like we're doing here maybe with AMD. So here goes AMD, see? So we didn't even average into that trade again. We took some out for 50 cents, got some out there once it broke 190. So it's like it's not going to be a successful trade because we keep on doing this. But at the end of the day, the hits are minimal, and we wait for something to happen here in the market. Is it a free fall Friday? You know, when the market was down, you know, just green or down 0.3, 0.4, we had mentioned look out below, but I don't feel like that's really happening.
Now look at it though.
Yeah, it's kind of just chilling now, right?
When I look at the futures now on my 15-minute, I mean, you guys tell me what this looks like to you. Like, look at the volume candle. That looks like a wick bottom. If we break it back out, I'd have some concern there. I am only short, though, because, again, stick to the plan, Stan. Higher lows, I took some at 90s, said I had to take some at Intel at 90s when we got to 43s. I took 91s. Can't even get 85s there. At some point, this is going to break higher on Intel. Because we've taken profit, we're slightly up on the stock. But if it breaks the high, I'm going to be down. Mara, we were just mentioning BTC or IBIT or whatever the heck you're looking at. Whatever you're looking at to express Bitcoin trades, kind of wicked this bottom and turned to a top and wicked that top and came back underneath. That happened simultaneously while Mara was at yesterday afternoon's highs and wicking that top. So I expressed a trade in Mara, punch short, stop at the high, and then scalp it out. So it's about, I mean, on Mara, you're going to get slipped a couple of pennies. So even though, let's call it 10 to 15 cents worth of risk because you've got to factor some slippage in on Mara. It's 43 is the high of the day. If it breaks out, I'm out. And I want to play this back into VWAP. So it's a VWAP play for me. We're going to ring the register on that one. Intel just got that next fill of 42.85. I got bids at 80s and 75s. If it breaks VWAP, maybe I'll be able to get something at 42.5. Trade Trigger is asking me about Verb. Do I still like it? I remember I didn't like the break. I said if it comes a third time and holds the higher low and breaks it, then I would like it. So it's held the higher low, and now if we could break 45, I'd probably, 50, I would like the 50 break the third time through, but I'd probably have like a 3 or 4 cent stop on that. Let's go to Adara. Good timing for the small cap recap.
IWM right now, positive on the day and definitely some kind of range, a bit of a double bottom here. So worth keeping an eye on, but pretty rangy right now so far for the Russell 2000. It's also worth taking a look at some of these small cap movers, including Verb. This one announced that its Market Live has launched Facebook and Instagram social shopping technology integration. So bit of an announcement here, but the main story is the 20 million share float. About 2% of that is going to be short float, market cap of 3 million. So just some facts there on VERB. We also have here JTAI, Jet AI. This one very much to the upside here, up about 80%. Not seeing any news on this one, but a pretty small float of about 3% and about 2% short float. So, 3 million shares, 2% short float. Keep an eye on JTAI. Last but not least here, Cardlytics, CDLX. This one rising here after its earnings and a higher than expected revenue projection. Also worth noting, we have about just over 11% short float on CDLX, guys.
All right.
Very quickly here because it's about to break the top. Mara, I got filled at 25. I got filled at 21. It's obviously not going to get to VWAP, so we're going to break. I'm not going long, but I'm getting out if it breaks that top. Intel just came back into VWAP. There is news on Zillow we'll get to in a second, but Intel's starting to come back into VWAP. I'm going to be taking the profit on the way down for that as well. Got to be able to ring the register when we do get a bit of a flush.
This is good.
There is news on Zillow. We're just trying to figure it out, and I'll get it to you guys after I can pull it up on Benzinga.
Okay, so we just went positive on AMD. Like, we just shorted 190.50 there, so I know Neil was doing the same thing on Intel. And then look at these outs, man. 189.70, 189.60. Like, this is not for the faint at heart, I feel like, here, for sure. Apple's starting to go to the downside as well right now, so we'll punch out of that as it just breaks 80s, and we'll get out of Apple. So we took the long, we took a little bit more in, but we will fail on Apple. So we'll have a red name today. It's going to be Apple. You know, and we're just going to wait to see if and when this name bounces at all. Weak. We shouldn't have had the long on Apple. But like we said, man, if you're going to lose on something, let's lose over there with Apple because we've made a lot of money on it this week. So, all right, that doesn't mean that you want to lose again. But there's $1 in the money on Micron. We'll still hold on to that one. I'm just trying to talk about some of these plays. So I just took a flyer there. I saw some action in MSOS. And, of course, we know that there's the marijuana ETF. Just a little spike there in volume, as you could see. I took the long thinking we could break 50, but we didn't. So then when we took 30, we got out. It's a hit, but I'm here to tell you it's not you know, it's not a big one because we don't trust anything to do with this space. So if it starts to run again, we'll look at it again. Maybe this is what Adair is all about right now.
Oh, she's Zillow.
Yeah, some news here on Zillow and some of these other real estate housing related names. Z down about 10% here. Basically, the New York Times reporting that a powerful realtor group agrees to slash commissions to settle this lawsuit. The National Association of Realtors is going to pay just over $400 million in damages and will amend several rules that housing experts are saying is going to drive down housing costs. So big move down here on strong volume for Zillow. Keep an eye out on these real estate related names, guys.
Yeah, there you go. And look, as much as I'm happy that this is moving down, it's still higher lows in the stock that I'm short, and that's Intel. So taking some profit out to make sure that we don't blow it up, but you're going into a flat top potential breakout through these highs at that 43 level. Got to be able to respect it. Mara, oddly enough, did not take out the high. It's probably going to. Like, look at this. They got one little push down. It's probably going to take out that high. I'm not adding to it. I just got another bid on Fisker. So that just came back. Well, that's New York. There you go. Fisker, brick wall at 16 even. So I took another leg out there. And there goes Mar that just took out that top. Again, no reload for me at that level. Didn't want to fight the trend. Either it's going to give me that pullback when Bitcoin wicked 39, or IBIT wicked 39. Either it's going to pull back into VWAP. We'll take the one shot at it. When it breaks out the top, we'll get out of Dodge and then see what we can do next. So it's still short Intel. Holding on to Fisker, it's probably never going to break that trend. I mean, never say never, but it's probably not. NVIDIA is starting to range toward this 885 level. So it's not really a flat top break because that would have been right here at 883.5. But the 85, if as NVIDIA goes, this market might go as well. Holding that 18.1. Where is Google? That's what I was looking at. It's not at that 41 level. It's not bad. 141.75 in there, give it 50 cents. It's not a bad setup. It's not a great one either on Alphabet. I'm not going to force that trade. Not today.
No, you don't need. That's a good point. Like, and that's what we were saying today. What's the point of doing anything if you don't have a good read on something, and the market's doing what it's doing right now? So we're just gonna wait, man. We will try. Like I said, AMD, we keep getting stopped out, but it's finally up almost at our 192 level. So this is going to be the very, very last short that we take on this day. We are back into the long on Apple. We just got printed up there, which was pretty good, up at 171. Micron still continues to push. Any other names you guys want? Mara? Okay, let's have a quick look at Mara right now again. Thank you so much, Sharif. Much appreciated. Oh, I like the red. Good, because we are, well, right now we're waiting for AMD short, but we're long Apple, so okay.
What is there?
Dude, Mara's at $18. It was down to 17 today. So 17.50. Mara now finally starting to go up. I'll look at this in a minute, guys. We just got more Apple.
Coinbase 240.
Oh, okay. So
239.
Bitcoin 68.3. Okay, Bitcoin's actually rallying here.
There could be a bit of a break. Because remember we were saying Bitcoin wicked the bottom there? It's now triple top. I mean, IBIT, if you're tracking Bitcoin prices, 68,300. But on IBIT, it's just a little bit easier to look at these prices. Like 39.20 is a triple top here on a 15-minute candle, on a 15-minute on IBIT. And look at Coinbase, absolutely flying to the upside. I'm glad I didn't take and stretch into that NVIDIA 885. It maybe went like $1. I think this could pull back into 880 and give you a better opportunity for a long down there. Or you could just never get it. That's the other way that this could work out. Intel, still higher lows. The next time it pushes, hopefully we can get something off of VWAP. No matter where it bounces, I'm going to try and get something out in front of that low. ARM is flying. I see no need to fight this stock right now. It looked like it was coming back in underneath 131. Shorted it, gave it a little bit of extra room.
Oh, we didn't get that.
A lot of times I'd have a stop down here, but I moved it up a little bit, lost a little bit extra, but we got away from this one. And I think it was the right call, and we'll wait for 135, 136. So came in today, just trying to keep things like in the pocket, I guess is the best way to think about it. And so we're going to try and do that and be really patient. I'm not seeing a lot of long setups that I'm in love with, despite the fact that the market is giving you signs of a reversal. It probably should have been holding on to NVIDIA, but I can't go back in time.
Yeah, I mean, imagine we could go back in time. I mean,
oh man, that would be fun this week.
We've had we took a $7 winner on Coinbase, blinked, and it was 25. The same thing yesterday with Tesla, with AMD. I came back yesterday being short 197. I was like, oh, we got out pretty good at 192 on AMD and stuff like that. And then I come back and the professor's like, Katina, man, it's at 188. I'm like, what? But okay, so here we go, man. We did really good on Apple there, by the way. This is why it's tough. It's tough to trade the way we do, and I understand that. And it's because, you're not seeing all the fills that we take all the time because it's not on us, or we're just taking them when we're taking them. And then Apple just got back up to 171 before dropping out again. But there it goes. So that was a good trade there. We didn't get, but it's not because it eventually wound up falling down. But Apple's been pretty bad here today, that's for sure. Very negative on Apple. I'm personally pretty disappointed because I thought Apple was going to be a good long today. We've only tested it, and it just never hasn't worked out. All right, so I just took a small position here at 191 because we were waiting for 192. Now, unfortunately, it got to 191.44. We were at 191.50, and we didn't get any shares. So we'll just take the short now and see what happens. But it is making a move to the downside right now in AMD. So let's take $1 at 190 here, just because we haven't done the greatest on it. And then if it comes back up, although we're not, like I said, it's a cup of coffee, honestly. We're not down really anything on AMD. But if it does come back, but we are red on it. If it does come back in, we'll take that bid down here at 190, and then we'll see if we can get a 189. We did write down 192. We got 50 cents away from it. We should have just been more patient with that name than we were. Micron still going. Apple's starting to bounce a little bit, but still going to the downside. We have to look at other names. I'm glad you're on Intel over there. Maybe we'll look at Disney when we get back. But in a sector that I just talked about briefly there, let's go over and talk to Adara about crypto.
Lots going on in the world of Bitcoin. We're going to talk about that in a second, but also worth noting this big move up yesterday for Dogecoin, including a bit of a volume spike here. Yesterday, we had Elon Musk saying that he's okay with Dogecoin being used for Tesla payments, saying Dogecoin to the moon as well. Apparently, he also said that Dogecoin is actually used for payments on some things on the Tesla website. So interesting look. He did say that really the goal is they think that Tesla should enable Doge payments for vehicles. That was said during an event at the Tesla Berlin Gigafactory. So interesting look there. Big move up for Dogecoin yesterday, being contextualized a little bit there, guys. Also, Bitcoin here very much to the downside. Bit of a move down yesterday, but continuing to see that push down today, going from over 72,000 to right now just above 68,000 here, so about down 5% in the day, 68.2. Ethereum just above that 3,700 level, down about 5% right now, and a bit of a mixed picture for some of these other cryptocurrencies. BNB down about 2%, Solana up about 7%, Cardano down about the same amount, so 7% to the downside for Cardano. Dogecoin, after its big day yesterday, down about 10%, so very much a mixed picture in the world of cryptocurrencies. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Sign up for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
Again, this stupid AMD. This thing, thanks, Adara, this thing just goes right in the money again. We started getting some out in the 40s again, and then it just rips up. So here we are. We are at 192, and bye-bye. Might as well say bye to it right now. There goes AMD. So that was a real hit right there.
890 NVIDIA.
Yeah, 890. Okay, so there goes NVIDIA. There goes AMD straight up to the upside. That was a reasonable hit there at 192. Our average price was 78 there or something like that. And then we finally were getting something out in the 50s, and then it just ripped. I thought we finally had the top, but we didn't. So there's a hit on AMD. We're not down what we were up yesterday on AMD yet. So, that name's still in the pocket, but ooh, that was a hit right there at 192. I may go back in it, but I don't know, man. It has to be NVIDIA time, right? That has to slow down as well.
It just got to the 80. What was that?
Maybe I didn't give it enough.
89, 980 something. It was so close to the top. I did get Tesla at VWAP. Shout out to everyone in the chat that's like, now. Tesla VWAP. So I'm short in front of 163, but I'm staring at a level 2 for NVIDIA at 890 for a potential breakout trade on NVIDIA. So, I'm in Tesla now, but I'm staring at NVIDIA here. Let's go back to the desk with Adara.
Yeah, just keep an eye on MSOS and some of these other cannabis-related stocks here, MSOS being the ETF. A lot of volume on this name, not any particular news, but a lot of circulation of a tweet from Doug Cass, who's a hedge fund manager at Seabreeze, saying that he's heard that the USDEA will approve the rescheduling of cannabis to Schedule 3 shortly. So again, not news, not confirmation, just something that's being heavily circulated on social media. Lots of mentions of MSOS and these related names and lots of volume, so keep an eye on that one, guys.
All right.
And now I'm reloaded in Intel in that few seconds.
Yeah, good look there. I'm reloaded in AMD,
we'll
which
see.
is finally going to the downside here a little bit as well. So let's go, finally, man. I'm not going to hit anything because I just told you that we were down on AMD, but I'm going to see if we can get this back in. We did want to oops, that's NVIDIA, my bad, guys. We did want to get AMD back into the pocket here a little bit. So we'll start bidding some out here into the 80s. We are short at 14 again. We've already taken a lot out on the downside. This is a story of my life today, honestly. I get obsessed with trading some of these names. And so if you guys notice that, please step away because I definitely know that's one problem that I have. But there it is, man. We just put some more money in. We've made a lot back on AMD just in that move. So again, trying to short it up there. We got 2 fills, all down to the downside. They might not look like they're bigger winners, but honestly, 40 or 50 cents for me is more than fine. We do want to hold for more so that I don't have to come back from the walk and find out that this thing's down at 188 again. But let's just see what happens here. We're going to hold out for a 192 break. We're in this. We've made this trade already. No more averages in. If it breaks it, it breaks it. I'm now very, very comfortable with what we've done on this stock other than not gone long off the open.
Yeah, right at the open,
Stock has been
those
exhausting.
bottoms, NVIDIA's bottom was right at 930.
Exhausting.
Right at 930 is the bottom wick on NVIDIA. And on a witching day, I feel like in the years I've been trading, tops and bottoms get made in opening candles so often on a witching day. And this is triple witching. NVIDIA, the longer I stare at it, the less likely it is to break 890. So it's going back up there again. Every time it gets to 889, hands on the keys because, I want to get my stop order if it does break through. Intel might take out the top soon. I reloaded that one at 98 because we've been shorting that level. This is like the 4th or 5th time that we've gotten to fill at that at that 43 level on Intel. Maybe this isn't going to be a charm because the market has 4 consecutive green candles on the NASDAQ and the other chip names, as you can see, are flying. Obviously, I should have held this NVIDIA in the first place. Tesla broke VWAP, so I jumped out of that trade. Do not want to be fighting it. But here comes the 890 break on NVIDIA in a second. Oh, God,
yeah, probably. It's coming up right now. Okay, so I just want to launch Micron. This is a name, again, being obsessed with AMD and not really focusing on Micron is definitely going to be a problem right there because you can see this name. We bought this 92 bottom, and now it's right back up to the top. We talked about it holding 93 on the sticky note. We talked about it, holding this 92 level, and we're still in it. So it's a good trade so far on that one. There goes NVIDIA breaking through 890, so that's going to be a good one. Apple might have found a bottom there at 170. Probably did, as now it's starting to go back up to the upside. So there it is. Neil's got the NVIDIA trade, which is starting to cook, so that's nice. But yeah, nice upside push here in the market today. Considering, the sort of the downside move that we had, we're trying to get back up to VWAP, so watch out here as the chip names seem to be hot again, right? Micron $2. You've got NVIDIA right now cooking. So far, so good here today.
Oh, wow. Bless you again. I'm telling you, it's allergy season, man.
Yeah.
But that wasn't me that time.
Not to have Apple.
Look, we took the 890 break. At this particular point, it's station to station for me. So I got out in front of 92s, and I'm going to get out in front of 95s. Everything feels like it's going against the grain of what I anticipated on this Friday. But guess what's going to come out soon? If that's going to work, you know what's going to be the worst reload? I should have gotten this at a better price on Intel. I don't mind reloading this level, but there's zero reason to have been shorting 98s and not 03s or 04s on Intel. Look at the level. What is it doing at that price, and what is the market doing? And the moment the market's strong, get it closer to the high of the day. That's one thing that you do want to do. Tell us what kind of stop I've set for Fisker, says Elon. Sure.
Elon.
So in a situation like this, when I'm shorting here, my stop is 19.5. And then once it breaks to the downside, I move, once it breaks the first level down, to 17, I move my stop just above. It's not really break even, but it's above 18.5. And if it breaks 16, I'll probably move that trail. I haven't actually decided yet. If it breaks to 16, sometimes I'd move it to 17 even. I'll play that by ear. But I'm still holding half of the Fisker position. And I haven't really been able to get back in its SSR at this particular point. We're going to have a very cool lesson of the day today.
Boom.
And it's going to have something to do with why I wasn't here in the afternoon. But it's a half-decent story. Today, like yesterday was on everything I traded on the show was positive. Yet yesterday was the worst trading day I've had in 2 years, I think, something like that. And I'll give you guys the story why, but it was something completely unrelated to the stuff that I show you. And believe me, I don't usually, like I'm a pretty calm person when it comes to trading, and I was not calm in the afternoon. So that's why I took off. But NVIDIA, another clean one for me. I have only been taking breakout scalps on NVIDIA, and every single one has worked this week. It's like 6 for 6 or 7 for 7, but none of them I'm holding past the level I want. So if I take the short here, 75, I'm getting out in front of support. If I go long here, I'm taking it to that level when I'm not loving it. When I go long 890, I'm getting out in front of 895. If I take a 900 break, I'll probably scalp that to yesterday's high or something like that today. Like I'm just keeping everything in the pocket as far as we speak, so I like rigging the register on it. We'll hit this, and I'm only hitting this because the spike. Shout out to my Buffalo Bills, who just got exactly the wide receiver that I've said all season to some of my friends that I think they should, and his name is Curtis Samuel. He's a very undercover signing, and I think he's going to take us to the next level. But then again, I think we're going to win the Super Bowl pretty much every single year.
Yeah, that's a tough team there. Okay, that was Sharif that hit that.
Okay. Okay.
Sharif is definitely hating
Okay.
on,
No,
your,
that's okay. That's
on
fine.
your
That's
Buffalo
fine.
Bills.
That's fine.
All right. All right, so be it.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, of course it's fine.
You guys don't even have a running back, bro. You didn't even the Dallas Cowboys didn't even contact Derrick Henry. Now that's pathetic because he would have wanted to play for you guys, and you didn't even contact the best running back in the market. You didn't even try. And if you don't even try, you cannot possibly win. We're going to go to Adara now and stop talking about football.
Lots of weakness across the board here, guys. Not a lot of positive sectors here to talk about. Definitely we're talking about some of this weakness in health technology. Pretty much weak across the board here. ISRG, though, this one worth noting. They did have some positive FDA approval for one of their medical devices, so good look there. ABT, though, Abbott Technologies, very much to the downside, trading in sympathy after another company that makes baby formula was fined in a $60 million lawsuit. So ABT very much to the downside here. Finance a bit more mixed. Commercial services a bit more mixed. Producer manufacturing also a little bit mixed here. So not a lot of sectors with tons of positivity or negativity to speak of. Commercial services very much to the downside across the board here. And of course, technology services super weak. Very few positive names to talk about here. Adobe and the weaker than expected guidance, bringing a lot of these names with it to the downside, guys.
Right. Oh, yeah, Adobe. I got to go and buy some of that. Okay, thank you, Ms. Adara, for that fantastic report there. All right, so right now we are 50 cents in the money short on AMD. I know. What am I doing? I have no idea quite clearly on that one, but we're taking some more profit here on the short. Maybe the market does want to bounce off of VWAP and start to head back to the downside, and we'll see what happens on the rest of what is today, Friday. We did take some short as well on Apple finally. Remember I said I was just disappointed in the way the stock was trading? So
Tesla.
we're going to flip up our opinion on it and go short now until we break through this 171. We have the 50-period moving average. It's really watch this. So we flipped it on its head right there. We just got some bids at 60. We got 2 bids at 63. That's it. So 79 to 63. We only got that twice. So we put our first bid there, it got filled, and then it was bouncing around. Was it 63 or was it lower? I'll have to double check because I have so many AMD fills in there as well. But anyways, a couple 63 fills there on Apple, and then AMD. We took some fills down there, some good ones as well. As you can see, there's a couple shorts. So we just got stopped out, but there's some more shorts there. And look at that fill, 45. So again, the money's there, but it's not it's not going down the way it's been down earlier, right? I mean, Neil will be up on NVIDIA because it's going long, especially on some of these good breaks, while we just kind of fighting the trend here today with AMD. So again, we'll still see. I still think that there's a winning opportunity here for that. About to get stopped out potentially on Micron. If we take the, I was going to give it to the 50 period. I almost think like we just touched 94.12, giving us $2 right there. But again, it's, you know, who knows what's up with these chip names. We could go a lot more than that. We are waiting for a 95 break. So that's kind of what we were looking for if we got up to 95. It only gets as far as 94.20. But again, we also didn't think it was going to dip into this level either. So good trade there for Micron for sure. Not so good shorting these other two names, but let's just see what happens. MSOS, we took a shot on this name. Not much happening in the cannabis space. I'm going to assume that Tilray and whatnot doing nothing. Them and ACB and TrueLeave and all those kind of names there. I don't even know if Hexo still exists or anything like that. Chuck of all trades, the SPY will close green today. Let's see, possibly there. Yeah, it's only down 0.43. I could see us getting going again on that. So if that's true, then we better flip over to some of the longs. I feel like that's possibly true. The NASDAQ, to me, I look at the NASDAQ, so I'm more comfortable sort of feeling out that one. And again, we talked about how range-bound this name, the NASDAQ has been, and we're still in that range. So hard to make a call anywhere. If anything, I would say red because we're still under VWAP. But for right now, I just don't see too many catalysts in this market. So let's just continue to trade how we're doing it. We just got some more short there on Apple, and we like that trade. So we'll hold on. We'll see if we can bid and get something out there. But Apple, that last short was just right here at 86. So it just went back into 72 or 6 or something. So we'll put some bids and see if it can fall back in. AMD is just doing a dance up here. Whether or not it gives it up or not, I don't know. I'm bidding Neil down here on AMD for a little bit of a swoosh, but I'm not so convinced that these chip names are done.
Well, I've finally made the adjustment on Intel that if I was going to add to the position off of this high, then what were we going to do? If this is the high, why am I shorting it here? Let it actually fail the top and then short the lower high. Like, why are we being anchored? Remember anchoring? Anchoring to $43 even. Why are you doing that, Neil? You should be shorting it when it fails the top and then just try to get it underneath. It's not a huge difference whether you're getting 96, 97, 98 or 05, but it's the principle. If every single time you trade that setup, you're giving up 5 to 7 cents, think of how much that adds up over the course of your trading career. Like, it just be a little bit more efficient. So I will short, even if this falls all over itself for the rest of the day, you want to be a little bit more efficient. And I might still actually lose on this stock. Who knows? Like, it could easily break out the top. And if it does break out the top, then I hope I can find my way into a reversal at some point because it's got room to gap to the upside. NVIDIA, which I'm no longer in, we had short. This long could have been held. I probably missed a breakout in this range as well. We took the one at the top that got into 895. If this takes out 900, it's probably another breakout trade, but I'm just, again, trying to keep it into the pocket as much as we can. Fisker, that's still chilling out. It's not really doing a heck of a lot. I did want to go back over tomorrow because that one is flying. We did actually somehow manage not to lose on that short because it gave me that wick to the downside before breaking out. It's in the squeeze zone. Look at the second flat top break setting up here. If Bitcoin could just take out the high, I'd be all for this break. But I don't like taking a breakout on Mara if Bitcoin is pulling back. For some reason, I just don't want to do it.
Danny Jansen, fractured wrist, out a month.
I have Alejandro Kirk in my pool.
Exactly.
So
hopefully that guy can do
not
something
that I want
finally.
injuries to happen.
We're now $1 in the money right now on AMD as it's falling in a little bit. So let's put another bid right there and cash out one more time on AMD. So there it is. Bang again. Let's go, man. We talked about this. Man, we getting that mojo back now, baby. Nice move back into the downside right now. Also for Apple, we talked about changing up our tune on our tune on Apple. So there's another short there into the 50-period moving average. So we just got a 72 fill. We'll see if we can get it again as I just put another bid down there at 73, actually, not 72. Then we'll wait for 60s. Then we'll wait for 50s. But okay, good. We made some decent money back here, boys. Nice trade here on, and girls and everybody, made some nice trades there on AMD, got that back, and then really flipped up the script here on Apple and got some of that back. So good trading here to end the day. We said yesterday that we would tell you what was for lunch, so let's do it again. This is something that we do every single day. the market's moving around, so I don't want to spend too much time today. But again, I think Monday was chicken, Tuesday was chicken, maybe Wednesday could have also been chicken, maybe one day was salmon in there. I think we had fajitas. Monday was salmon. Thank you for that, Ram today. But like, you know, if you like hot dogs and things like that, it's kind of funny that we just talked about baseball, and then today now we have this emoji. Well, you'd be disappointed because today is creamy chicken.
Nope.
Like how I said, you guys, creamy chicken rigatoni Alfredo.
I'm not
what?
I'm not an Alfredo
So
guy.
if you like creamy sauce, today's lunch would be for you. Creamy chicken rigatoni Alfredo. Not hot dogs.
The salad will be. Save it for baseball.
Not hot dogs.
I promise you this much: I'll be eating a lot of dogs during baseball season.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure. But I'm not a big Alfredo guy. It's probably my least favorite.
All right, me
Oh,
too.
that's
Yeah, I don't like too creamy stuff. Is the pass for me.
So this verb stock
like a
cannot
good
find
gabagool.
this thing can't find a bid over 50 cents. Everybody, every time it gets here, there was just a break that instantly failed. If any buyers show up above 50, I want the long. But right now, it's just rejecting that price. So I do like a breakout here, but it's got to hold on to the bid. Maybe just if it takes 52, like a 52 break, because that's up here with a 48 stop. There we go. Because that way, there's at least buyers above, and it sets up the trade for me. So that's what I'm going to do, make my stop just above 52, and I almost put in $52, which would have been ridiculous, because then clearly I would never get that breakout. Or wouldn't I?
All right, just hearing right now. I don't know. Apparently, McDonald's. We didn't get this story at all. I'm just hearing it now, seeing it on Benzinga. They were offline this morning, apparently. So I don't know. They're back online. So there goes McDonald's. They said there was a global, worldwide
Unacceptable
outage or something like that. So take that for what it's worth. There for anybody that was not loving it this morning because potentially you did not get your food. But now we're back online and all is well in Mickey D land there for that. That's something that we don't get too often anymore. The kids, I don't know. My daughter's switching over. Like they're no longer, even though they're 9, like she's made the switch to Big Macs now.
I love the Big Mac.
Yeah, so that's like what she gets. And then my son will be either just a normal hamburger, like a quarter pounder or something like that. He's pretty picky.
It's not a hamburger, it's McDonald's. That's
Right,
what in my mind, I don't
or the
eat
chicken nuggets.
Yeah, like I don't eat a Big Mac because I want a hamburger. I eat a Big Mac because I want a Big Mac. If I want a burger, I'm going somewhere else.
Right.
You know, or we're just
literally fast food.
Yeah, or we just make it ourselves. But the play zones, my daughter is into.
Oh yeah, those were hot for a minute. For
So
us.
like we kind of do that after like sometimes gymnastics.
Yep.
But so as I said, I will take this verb breakout if it happens. I was able to just get some out of Intel, but not AMD. NVIDIA is now tracking towards another high of the day break. I do not want to be punching this one into the 900 level, so I'm not going to take this breakout. I sat out one breakout here. I'm going to sit this one out again. As I said, Intel is still working off of that top. This time we got a better price, short, but it needs to get back into VWAP. That's what has to happen. Next, just checking in the chat, see what you guys are up to. Coin and Mara. Mara's tracking toward a fat. Never mind. Mara has made a flat top break.
Boom.
Apparently,
Those breaks.
I was
down to 1750. What is it at now?
1875. I thought this was getting to $15.
We wanted that.
That's the 200 period moving average. I thought this would get to $15.
On the podcast last week, we called Mara. I said, watch out for that $15, $16 level. Good point out there, Neil. We'll talk about that tonight. And if you are, you're chilling out on Saturday, you're chilling out on Sunday, you're doing something, whatever you're doing, definitely make sure that you check out podcast. Damn, I should have wore that shirt. Check out the podcast. As Brendan and I can have a lot of fun here. We're going to be lining up some guests to come through very, very soon, so that should be fun. And we're working on bigger and better production things for that as well. And of course, we already have the best production staff. We just need to get the right tools. So as soon as we get that, we'll be having a lot of fun.
One of them's cool.
One of the staff is cool. Which one isn't?
Huh?
What did you say?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Over to the desk to someone who's always just straight chilling. It's Adara.
USD also not doing too much right now here, just around this 103.40 area, pretty much flat on the day despite a slew of economic data we've gotten so far. U.S. export price index for February coming a little bit higher than expected here, 0.8 versus 0.2. U.S. industrial production here lower than expected, so negative 0.2% versus positive 0.03% prior. U.S. manufacturing production also higher than expected, 0.8 versus 0.3%. Michigan consumer sentiment slightly lower than expected here, so 7.5%. 76.5 versus 77 expected. Not doing too much. Definitely not the reaction that we saw yesterday on that much harder than expected PPI data, or even the move up on Tuesday with the CPI data being higher than expected. Be ready to keep an eye, though, on the DXY coming into next week with the FOMC meeting coming up. So absolutely going to be something to watch out for. Right now, pretty much flat in the day, guys.
Alrighty then. Why don't we just go ahead? 'Cause I was going to advertise the more Trader TV Live, and I did want to.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I just did want to
Go
quickly also acknowledge this before.
Yeah,
it
I was
leaves.
going to get the super.
So he loves watching. Thank you so much, Matthew Paxton. Right now, no relationship to James, I don't know, but I love watching this channel through all the wins and losses. Thank you so much. I appreciate Jim. Is it Jim Paxton? Jim and James. Maybe it's first name. You know, they go by Jim.
Oh, you're thinking the pitcher.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Seattle.
I'm thinking of the basketball player.
I saw the no-hitter in Toronto, by the way. That was crazy. Like, I don't even go to any games, and I see that no-hitter. All right, see each other every morning, trade together. Yeah, thank you so much. We're just really glad that you're here with us. So thank you so much for all of that, man. That means a lot to us, Matthew. There goes AMD. AMD now $1 and starting to go to the downside. We did also flip up our game here, and you talk about wins and losses. We flipped up our game on Apple to put that back in the pocket for the short. But there's Micron still up in the money, $1.32. We're going to get out of Micron if it breaks this 40 level, guys.
Yeah, the market's starting to slow a little bit to the upside, but it has been kind of trending since the open. I just got to fill at 90s. If VWAP hits on Intel, I'll probably be all out of this one. We'll see, and then look for another re-entry point. Fisker's starting to track back up. This Verb stock is about to make that break. So if it breaks 52, I want to go long into like a 48 stop. Haven't really changed that plan, so give it about 4 cents. If it breaks higher, it could absolutely fly, whether it's the 60 level, this up here, the 200 period's like 63, and that was that last support level. So I think a 50 move, like a 52 break, in my mind, can get to 60 to 63 cents. So risking 4 pennies makes a little bit of sense there. Apparently PayPal and Palantir are taking off. I haven't even looked at Palantir today.
Oh my God.
Where is it? Load? Where?
I haven't looked at any of this stuff.
Palantir, oh yeah, Palantir, higher lows, holding VWAP, now above 24, like everything else was going downside. The problem here, when I zoom out into previous resistance or support, usually that's a short setup for me. So yes, it looks stair step up, but when I zoom it out, I actually see a short on Palantir, so I'll be sitting that one out. I think Verb is gonna break out, so that'll be the next trade. Intel's been good, I've been picking our spots. We only took 3 trades in NVIDIA. If something else sets up, maybe it's a 900 break a little bit later on. But Verb's about to take out this 52. 48 stop is going to be in. Coin, Mr. Memes, $21 in the money. You must be long, obviously.
Wow, what level did that hit? Oh my God.
Okay.
220?
Apparently it's at $242.
Coinbase.
I didn't see that coming. Okay, so Coinbase is doing things.
And all the coin heads out
and
there.
still has, if it takes out 42, this has room to 50. Wow, that's insane, Coinbase. What are you doing, Coinbase? There isn't even a red candle today on this thing. Verb just broke.
NVIDIA, 893.
Verb just broke and it went right to,
Verb?
oh, come on, Neil.
Come on, man.
I suck.
Come on, man. Solana also right now starting to go. We just had that news from
I hit
Sarah.
offer enter and got 58s.
Yep.
And within 2 seconds, it was at that 63 level I was talking about.
Perfect. That's exactly what
And
we
now
wanted.
it's tanking back in, so I'm just going to get out of everything except for the last 5%. So we got the break at 52, instantly out 58, was able to get more out at 63, and now we'll let the rest ride for the proverbial dream.
Okay, yeah, we like those dreams.
No, really? Verb, proverbial dream?
I thought you were trading Verb, but I should have commented on that comment. My bad. On that one. So yeah, good call there, Neil, with the dream, because it was all a dream, you know. But there, here it is right now. Good trade on Verb, obviously. Now let's just look over here and figure out what's going on with Apple. But how about not much? So we just keep on bidding here. We're gonna now wait for 50s. If it does go lower, good on that one, and we'll see what's rocking and rolling with that. We did get stopped out of our Micron. Good trade over there on Verb. We're on Micron. We're on Apple. We're on AMD as well, starting to go to the downside. I was just looking at Tesla again, and I was looking at Rivian. Rivian's doing nothing. I went over to Rivian to have a quick look to see if there's anything going on there. Apparently there is nothing as well. And Tesla here makes that nice move. Tesla's actually green today. So look, pretty violent off the open, right? Makes a move down right before the open happens. Then we go from 162 all the way up to 165. Too bad it didn't come into the level that we were talking about. We wanted 168. We talked about that, but that probably should have been looked at as a double top. So that's definitely a missed opportunity over there on that side for me anyways. AMD's now falling in. I am bidding here. I got to fix that. Now it's at 191.40. We were bidding 191.20. Let's just put a bid at 191.50 to see if we can make $1.50 on this. And again, like we've talked about, and again, thank you, Matthew Paxton, for the super chat again, because you talked about seeing us through our wins and seeing us through our losses. And I mean, you know, we'll look crazy with all these shorts, but at the end of the day, you know, if this can come back in, right now we're in $1 in the money on this name as well. So, you know, pick your spots. We will always screw up some trades, and sometimes a lot of trades. And Neil just mentioned at 12 o'clock, he's going to talk about what happened yesterday. And you can learn from that. We can all learn from that. And yeah, that's just something that happens. You know, losses will happen, and you got a Bitcoin 68.5 and still ripping. So whoever had that Coinbase, booyah, still going on that one as well. So yeah, man, lots of good things happening here in the market. I don't think we're free falling today, but we're just bouncing off the 50 period here on the NASDAQ.
Well, look, the NASDAQ, if this is a wick, this could be why can't it be a free fall?
Yeah, it could.
If we're taking yesterday's low and reversing at that level, I don't see why you couldn't be right back down at the bottom. The only long I'm in is Verb, so I'm still thinking that these can be shorts. I've tightened my stop in Verb from the 48 to the 50, because to me the move already happened. Like, we zoomed it out, it was a 52 breakout into the 200-period moving average was a 63. That was this key reversal level here at 63. What happened? It broke. I hit offer enter and got some out of 58. I actually got 2/3 out of 58. Then I took the all but 5% out here at 63, which was the level that we wanted. So probably a little bit too quick to just hit offer enter when it moved that far, but it happens. A win's going to be a win. I'm still in Intel, which is getting close to VWAP.
That's hilarious. Again,
let's play it by ear. Let's hold on to. I'll still be in front of VWAP, but let's try to hold on to this if we roll over. And Fisker still. Oh wow, missed a real.
How high did it go up?
17.5 cents VWAP. Like, if you're trading a stock like Fisker that's going bankrupt, you kind of want to take that fill. Like, you got to short the pops. Like, short the pop. This is dark pool dumping. You're not getting filled there. Short the pop. Missed an opportunity. Got it once. That's your chance to get it again when it comes to the upside. When it's short sell restricted, you kind of need to be getting it on the way up or all over it when it starts to come back down. It is 11 o'clock. We're going to take you on over to
AMD.
The Learn to Trade. I almost call it the midday, formerly the midday show, with Sharif and Adara. Go get them.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I am